This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. Welcome to Targeted Massachusetts Northeast Conference. My name is Uncle Frank, and I will be your host this evening. The views and opinions expressed on our show are not necessarily the views or opinions of myself, Targeted Massachusetts, North Stars International, and we will be back definitely on radio Monday night. The board op is just finished training, and I guess she is doing daytime, and the guy that usually does daytime is going to be handling nights. They fired a guy, key personnel, for years and years. Okay, call 12, which is you. You speaking? Because there's definitely some noise coming out there.
Who's caller 12?
Not you. You're already tagged as Rick. Officially Rick Rock. uh, yeah, I'm going to look through my bag of tricks here and see what you could talk about this evening. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that a bunch of you guys are depressed. I know what happens too. The targeting gets in the way of your progress. You try to get through it, and you always get the perps in the background. Oh, you'll never get it done. Oh, you're screwing this up. And who did I talk to? David. They were trying to tell him how to put his shoes on and all this. So, I mean, you hear them all day, and if they get you at the right moment, it's not good. Not good at all. Shit, I wish I titled these a little different. 4, 5. Whoops, that's not the right one.
Hey Frank,
So,
a
go
few
ahead.
days ago, I saw an email. I think it was from Ella, and she was talking about something happened that was important. Did you know what that was about?
Something happened.
That
Uh,
was important, and she didn't specify what it was.
the only thing I can think of, possibly, is the fact that she. How can I do that? I picked the same one. She called. She called up. Oh God, a news agency. I can't think which one it was, and they claimed that she said that all of the targets were crazy. So she didn't like that too much. You believe it?
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I believe it happened.
Damn.
Hey, I missed out. What were you talking about? Um,
Oh, he was wondering why Ella might have been upset.
Ella?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I haven't heard the latest. I don't want to gossip, but by what? You mean in general or specifically?
One specific point, I guess.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry. Um, I guess things happen in life that that do provoke a reaction, and usually they're they're resolved or understood. But I hope it wasn't by someone or something that was, um, you know, insidious or invidious or any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I've been
Yeah.
getting a lot of emails in praise of Mr. Robert Duncan, and that's very nice. But let me tell you something about. I had a conversation with Mr. Duncan, and he got a little heated, and he said that, and I quote,
Mm-hmm.
if you do not want to become part of the hive mind, you should
Mm-hmm.
put on a deserted island with just with no TV, no cable, uh, probably no electricity either. So, Mr. Duncan can
Well,
go whatever.
yeah, I don't agree with him,
No.
and I think because I may be wrong, but I think because he was interested in a very young age in some of the very things that he's doing now, that is something that he personally likes.
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of one. And I saw I saw I didn't attend the lecture, but I did see something that he prepared for it, and he said he had to talk on the level of a sixth grader and a PhD as well. Um,
Oh, he
I,
thinks he's something. He thinks he is something. Now, I went back and forth with him for 45 minutes on Facebook as well.
mm,
And he
yeah,
had a diagram of a device that he was building.
yeah,
And he showed uh, the diagram. And I immediately recognized the diagram. I went on Google
hmm
with the image and searched Google. Guess what?
what?
Under electrical diagrams, it was the third diagram. It was a fraud diagram. So I don't,
A fraud?
and
Yeah.
fraud, yeah, fraudulent. In other words, he just took a bunch of diagrams from electrical diagrams in Google and
hmm
placed them in Facebook and claimed that they were his. So
Wow. Wow.
the second one, I said, oh, the second one can't be. But guess
hmm
what? I did it again. It was in the same grouping. And I did it
Are you
again and I
they,
found the third one. So he was a
were
fraud.
they were they exactly? In other words, is it possible that they were? It was a slightly different one. I mean, the
No,
diagram
no, not at
identical.
all. Exact.
Oh,
Exactly. Three electrical diagrams, and they were all wired together, and they happened to be off the same page. And I lost immediate respect right there because he was trying to dazzle the Facebook crowd of, what did you say, sixth graders? Well, what does that make him? A first grader. All right. I don't
yeah.
care. I don't like the man. He's against us. He is for the hive mind. And I don't care what he does. He can't undo what he has said to me. And,
hmm
I won't pull any punches. He's an ass. He won't share. If he's got the secrets, he should secretly share them with somebody like an engineer and
Yes.
get it done. You know, send his family to Switzerland or something and get the shit done. Be a real whistleblower. Come
Yeah.
out.
I mean,
Ah,
whistleblowing is one thing. Um, but to if he really is concerned about this, and he doesn't. I mean, having hive minds would be that's going toward the not only the end of civilization, but at what cost? I mean, look at what the invasive technology would do to the individual human being. I mean, I suppose, what is he thinking of getting, of people being tipped, and then it wouldn't have to be uh, the other mode of penetration that is done. But you know, I don't want it, and if he isn't going to, work toward, I mean, your mind, you talk about, I mean, no one would want to be penetrated, dare I say, I'll say it, genitally. It's terrible.
Yeah,
It was, I
yeah.
must, but, you know, if you don't get killed, it's over, you know, as bad as it is, it's over. But for someone, for your mind not to be, your own, and to not be able to choose. I mean, how, even if they think it's going to be something where you can, turn this on and turn this off and blah blah blah. There's
Well,
no,
yeah, to get back to what I was talking about,
yeah,
I call him like I see him. I don't hold anything.
yeah,
I'm like the police for the community. If
mhm,
somebody's doing something and it's wrong, I'm on them.
yeah,
Period.
yeah,
And he's not for the TIs. He's making money off us. Books, book after book after book.
well, I
He's
looked
making money.
at books, and I just thought, wow, this is crazy, like,
Yeah,
I mean,
Frank,
this is,
remember the other night? Remember the
yeah,
other night when I told you when I was going to Allison's thing? Did I tell? I
yeah,
told you, right?
yeah.
Um, it was a guy in there speaking to me and Angel after the presentation. He said Duncan was drunk. He said because he watched a lot of his videos and he didn't usually sound like that. He said it
Yeah,
sounded like he was drunk to him.
he gets drunk. He does. He used to get
Oh,
he used to get drunk years ago too.
yeah, I got that impression as well,
Yeah,
from some things, But if you're going to drink, that's one thing. But if you're going to drink when you're doing something professional, that's kind of, kind of crazy, and
yeah,
especially when you're representing a community. But I think the whole thing, if people don't get this thing straightened out, this TI thing is going to become a cult, and it's going to become, I mean, the label alone. But I mean, what it is, I mean, it's the ultimate hacking, so, and it's bad. It's very bad. Why can't they see it that way? You know, um,
yeah.
you know, it breaks a lot of amendments and so forth, and it's just very, very wrong. And you know,
So anyway, I have no respect for him. I will not post the video, and um, I just he just rubs me the wrong way, and he is transparent to me as an open window, and I don't like him. And that's it. I won't say anymore.
yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, I've read of a few things, and I was, um, I thought this doesn't seem consistent with this. And there was one thing once I saw, and it did happen to be on Facebook. And I want to live my life and not other people's lives, but I did look at a few things, and I thought, this person, there's someone impersonating him, or if he did it, if he wrote it, it was bordering on pornographic. you know, I think maybe in this case, someone, we had someone that jumped on his page and put something on there to make him look bad, you know. Um, but yeah, it's one thing to get out of creating that stuff, and that's good that he did that. But you know, when you have people that are vulnerable, and that's really, the whole country and the whole world. But let's just say this country. I mean, we 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 can't take on the world. I mean, we can want equality and all. I mean, without getting into it, I think you know what I mean. We have to.
Yeah, I have an article up here. and it's about DARPA and the Brain Initiative, and it makes
Yeah.
me sick. It really
Yes,
does.
doesn't it? Doesn't it?
President Obama, I think I've mentioned this before, but he opened the door for billions of dollars to go into DARPA with no allotment tag. Okay, this is going here, this is going here, this is going here. You just don't
Well,
dump billions of dollars with no allocation.
yeah, and you know, the fact that I have to say, the fact that it's DARPA doing the designs and some of the applications or whatever the money is, you know, it wouldn't be going through DARPA if it weren't for exactly what DARPA means. You know, it's no,
Exactly.
yeah, it, you know, and if they have to argue that that's how it's done, well, then we can see the two things, can't we? You know, I mean, it isn't this brain initiative is, you know,
Now,
it's not like in the 50s when they said the kids had to get more exercise to compete with the Soviets. It's a little different, you know, a lot different. It's a
now
lot, yeah.
I mentioned that DARPA used vets and quadriplegic people and just people that were paralyzed, and and they gave consent for DARPA to develop all these new sciences in terms of helping them get control of their limbs. But what they're actually doing is they're using all of this information to further development of their super soldier.
Yeah, and I've heard that even they plan on or have taken the brain of, say, a mouse and put it in a monkey, or vice versa, or you know, I mean, they are research crazy, and also, you know, behavior crazy. Um,
They're,
yeah,
this DARPA Electrics, which I've mentioned for years, is the killer. It's the killer. It has a sexual component in it. And the sexual module is what is getting you right now. I'll just read one paragraph from this. Many chronic inflammatory diseases and mental health conditions affecting military service members and veterans involve abnormal activity in the peripheral nervous system, which plays a key role in organ function. Monitoring and targeted regulation of peripheral nerve signals offer great promise to help patients restore and maintain their health without surgery or drugs. Okay, so this program already is controlling your internal organs. It's preventing you from becoming ill. Okay, Anonymous, you've got some serious mic problems. See if you can get those fixed and then unmute and speak. Anybody that would like to speak can just unmute and have at it. Okay, so the current neural modulation devices are typically used as a last resort. However, because they are relatively large, about the size of a deck of cards, it would require invasive surgical implantation. Now, we all know that there's things a lot smaller than that. Even in this article, they go down to something that's 2 millimeters thick, and I'm sure they have things that are a lot smaller. So DARPA's electrical prescriptions, which is electrics program, is seeking innovative research proposals to help transform neuromodulation therapies from last resort to first choice for a wide range of diseases. Now, if this were the concrete reason for this program, it'd be great. But unfortunately, later on down in this article, you start to see the real truth. They want a closed loop neural modulation system design and implementation. They want to control every move that the body makes. They want to control every thought that the body makes. And they came up, as soon as the Brain Initiative came out, DARPA started researching 5 mind control programs, all under the Brain Initiative. And I guess the first one is the NESD Brain Initiative, Neural Engineering Systems Design. The second one is RAM Brain Initiative, Restoring Active Memory, or adding active memory. And it says that it looks as though this person with this particular type of implant can actually control someone else's devices. So already we're running into problems. Okay, RAM Brain Initiative. Then we have the TNT Brain Initiative, Targeted Neuroplasticity Training. Then we have Haptics Brain Initiative. And this is actually the sense of touch and feel and sense with fingers. And they have it. Now they have it. One of these robots can actually touch and feel things and get the same sensation that you do, simply because that particular sense of touch was taken from a human and programmed into this Haptics Brain Initiative. Now here's at the end of each one, there's a dystopian nightmare. Prosthetic limbs become superior to our natural appendages, and consumers get them through elective surgeries. Those limbs can now be remotely controlled or hacked, where pain can be inflicted upon those with prosthetics. Translation: anybody who has any of these devices, either implanted in their head or, as they say here, as a cover-up, prosthetics, the military can also use this to develop indelible mech warriors and exoskeletons that are sold to private firms and police forces. It's like, and they compare it to RoboCop and Iron Man. So it is just crazy what they are doing. And I believe still that we are the test dummies. I'm 50% sure we are still. I believe that the government is recording all of the activity that's going on between the perps and us. And they are looking at the results of what they are doing. And the rest of the government and anybody who can is listening. Now, what you have to understand is, in radio communication, if you can hear it, someone else can. But in this case, the government knows all about it, so they are recording it. Because the government will not be held responsible for this. They can't be. It's too big. There'd be a civil war. There could be massive riots across the country. hundreds of people, thousands of people, when this comes to light, will be flooding hospitals trying to get MRIs, trying to get this. Am I chipped? Am I being mind controlled? And it's going to start coming out. And
They ain't bigger than God, though.
no, they're not.
Always remember that. They're not bigger than God. They might be big, but they ain't bigger than God. I'm going to always keep my faith.
Thank you, Paula. That's exactly right. And we've had a few people on here who are actually atheists, and that's fine. They can not believe as they choose. And
I do not consent nor comply to any type of infringement.
well, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, I'm not an atheist, and I don't really want an atheist practice inflicted when somebody is invoking a prayer on this call. And I love to have every once in a while somebody come forward with a prayer. And to me, it's enjoyable. It unites everybody. That's what we need, is unification. We have to all unite. And our faith is one of the biggest things that can help us to unite. And I really support any religion that comes forward that has a belief. Because there's no one religion that's better than another. There's a few that have certainly fallen out of grace lately, but I'm not going to talk about that because we don't do religion on here. I can, though. But anyway, DARPA's bad news. And that program, Electrics, is deadly. And that's the one that's sexually trying to molest you, or has, in my case and many other people.
Oh, it's a demon. Is it a demon program, sir?
Yes, it is a demon program. It's a diabolical program, and I believe it's going to take light. And with the combination of these 5 programs, I think that you're going to see a different kind of AI emerge from there. So with that, we have the research that I've been doing is taking us so far into the future and the past at the same time. I think I've been on board the Enterprise 3 or 4 times here in this research that I've been doing, because it's all futuristic stuff that you people have trouble believing.
They are time traveling as well, sir.
I believe that. I believe that. Yes, I do. I believe that. And if somebody ever finds that machine, please destroy it, because that would be the end right there. Because I think they can cause a paradox and rip a hole somewhere, and that would not be good. We might have a parallel universe that's now askew. So that's not good either. But I'm saying but too much. I guess we need some comments here. I don't want to sit and talk all night. Anybody who would like to take the floor? It is Friday night, open mic. We will be on.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Paul.
I want to. Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
You said the government is too big, and my whole thing is, I'm being told that they're trying to depopulate the earth. Okay, they can't kill everybody. They can't target everybody and make everybody give up and commit suicide. And I mean, how can they do that? They can't do that. Like, it's a lot of people like me, and I know it's a lot of other people. When they first found out what was going on, they was in fear. They didn't know what was going on. They was in fear and scared, and I was more curious. I kept saying, God, why? God, what? God, what? What is this God? What is this God? So I was more curious than I was in fear. When I say I wasn't in fear, I stayed in my house. I stayed in my house by myself. It's at the beginning, and I still never. I mean, I always went out. I never let them keep me home, but I was like, why do these people follow me? Why are they following me in my house and out my house? So every room I went to in my house, they was following me from upstairs. And then when I go out the door, people will follow me everywhere I go. So I was more curious. But my whole thing is, how do these people or the government or whoever think they can do it, going to be able to do this to every single person on the in the country, in every country? How is this supposed to happen? It can't. It just ain't. Now that I'm stronger and I know what's going on, when I came to you a year ago, Frank, a year ago, and I know what's going on, you could beat it. I was so neuro monitored back in 2017. Like, they had me flipping my head back and forth. Now they ain't got nothing on me with that neuro monitoring. Nothing. All I do is pray. All I do is blast gospel. I blast it in the car. I blast it in my house, and they don't like it. And I'll scream and holler, Jesus. They don't like Jesus. So I do what they don't like. That's what I do. I did, just like they try to hurt me and things to me that I don't like, I do the same thing to them. I just flip it back on them. So I'll blast the music I'm talking about.
That's a great solution.
Yes, it does. It works great. Because they don't let me go. Excuse me. They mess with my voice, y'all. This is what they do when I talk about. When they don't let me go to sleep, I say, okay, you want to zap me? You want to zap me? I'll get right up, go put my DVD on, and it be gospel, and I'll blast it. I say, y'all want to play with me? I'm going to play. Okay. You don't know this, sister. I'm a fighter. Best. I am a fighter, and I've been like this all my life. So I'm never going to let the devil make me give up. I'm never going to give up.
Amen.
And Frank, to answer to your question, Frank, if you like somebody to pray, I'll be glad to pray. That's all I like to do is pray.
Please pray. Please pray. Please.
You see, who is that yelling at me? You see, when you gave the Easter service, you see, I prayed for the opening of the service, right?
Yes, you did.
Frank?
Very nice.
So anytime you want prayer on your call, like if you want it in the excuse me, they mess with my voice. Anytime you want prayer in the beginning or the end, well, in the end I can't say because I might be asleep because I do go to sleep early because I have to work. But if you want to email me or something like that, I know you was just saying you would like to have. I know everybody's not spiritual. Everybody don't want to hear prayers though, Frank. You know, because everybody's not spiritual. They don't want to hear it. And I know one person that get on your call, daggone sure don't want to hear because they're atheists, and that's Barbara Goulet.
Yeah, right.
She does not. She does not want to hear prayer. Renata had to get her away from her call because she was starting trouble on her call about prayers. You know, Renata's a Christian too, and Renata talks about God all the time. And other people get on there and they talk about God, and Barbara didn't want to hear it. So she, Renata said she had to tell her. You know, she had to tell her, like, this is my call. You're not gonna come and control my call. So, so I know it's up to you. I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. I pray all the time. I talk to God. I play gospel. So I'm never giving up my faith. No man, no demon in hell, no demon on this earth is going to make me give up on God. I'm never giving up. I'm going to fight all the way to the end. I'm going to curse their lives all the way to the end. They're just like they do mine.
What they want for us, we want for them.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to let you know, a lot of people probably won't bother. Okay, I just wanted to clue you in on how a basic laser works. Picture a light shining through a medium, whether it's a ruby or whatever it is, and there is a mirror on one side that is fixed, and the other mirror it's transmissive. It lets a little bit of light through. So the light bounces back and forth. It almost acts like a capacitor, and it stores this light until there's enough of it there to slam through the other mirror, which is transmissive, which means if you're going to pour water, it's porous. It will let light through, but at only certain amplitudes. But I figured I'd stick that in there because I just saw it, and a lot of people are always asking me how they work. But there are so many different types, so it's hard to identify which one they're using or which series they're using.
What can be done to block it in your?
Okay, if you if it is definitely a laser and you are being burned, grab a mirror. Because I'll tell you, my first business that I had, I wanted to make sure that there weren't any break-ins. So I had an alarm system put in that had lasers that crossed the showroom, and trying to think whether, across the showroom, the shop, the upstairs storage. And the guy came in and he actually aimed these lasers with a gun sight so that if you cross the path of this laser, it would set off the alarm. But it's very interesting the way they work. But yes, a mirror will block a laser, and it will not be able to penetrate. And if you had the precise angle, you could actually send that back from whence it came, or to from whence it came.
That would be great. Or just to, not have it. I mean, given that it were directed to direct it.
Just try it. I mean, if you have an area that you feel like they're like hitting in your head or something like that, just put the mirror in the area on the back of your head that you feel this laser is hitting you, and see if it doesn't help. If it does, and anybody finds out, please let me know.
Yeah, I think it would have to be a certain thickness.
I think it would have to be real silver on the back of it too. I think it would have to be a real mirror. But as long as it has a shiny surface like that, I think it would work. Rick, what do you think about that?
Use I was gonna say use a light when they're hitting you. Flash the light at them where the direction is coming from. I mean, you can use a black light or a regular flashlight and shine it. They don't like that. Oh my God, they don't like that. When I use the flashlight on my phone when I'm laying down and they start zapping me, if I don't get up to put the gospel on, I'll put the flashlight on.
Okay, I've
That's
got a tip.
good point.
I've got a tip for you that I've learned. Hi, Janie. I've got a tip.
You were gonna say? Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I've got a tip that I've learned that they don't like. I'm not saying it's a positive countermeasure, but it's not a negative one. If you can, close your eyes and face a lamp. All they have is red. All they can see is red in your eyelids. They can't see anything. and they can't project anything. But give it a try.
Can I say that even small mirrors help? I'm not sure. Like you said, it would probably mean a silver one because TIs have always said get those old ones you can get from the from a secondhand store that are large things. But you can get a silly little hand mirror from the dollar store and use it, and it's probably not as good in the long run as something like that. But like you said, it's very shiny, and it does help. And I did have something else. I had someone who actually knew about lasers who told me that the newer windows, especially double pane windows, have a tendency to not distract, but distort where the laser would go. So that's something to consider and check it out. It's worth checking it out.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I don't want everybody. I don't want everybody to run out and buy 20 million mirrors. But I'm trying to understand a little bit because MIT came out with, as you know, a laser that carries voice to skull. So with that, I will say that it came out a long time ago, like about 2011. That's what I believe. Because
Frank,
go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
Can you repeat yourself? You said close your eyes and something before that lady starts speaking.
Yeah, close your eyes and look into a lamp in the house, like in your favorite chair, like an easy chair. Just close your eyes and look into that light because it distorts everything on your eyelids from the inside. And these happen to be a part of the eye that they used. And
I can turn the lights off, and I can close my eyes, and I can see lights. Like I can see two dots in my eyes.
Okay.
Lights in my eyes, and I'm like, the lights is off, my eyes is closed. How can I see light with my eyes closed in the dark?
Did you see?
So they have something.
Did they see? Did you see the light in the peripheral part of your vision? In other words, on the sides.
Top side, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
The top of my pupil, something.
Okay,
or my pupil. Excuse me. They're making me cough, y'all. I told y'all every time I talk about them, this is what they do. So I'm just letting y'all know.
If you ever see jagged colored lines in your peripheral vision that start to take over your eyes, it means they have stressed you out to the max and you have to rest like yesterday. It's only happened to me 3 times, but you need to rest. And I got that officially from the doctor, and I've had several other TIs with the same thing.
But they do stuff to my eyes, Frank. They put dots in my eyes while I'm driving, like they put foreign objects in my eye as I'm driving. So I don't know if they go back in behind the retina or they put something, a glow over the eyeball, or I don't know what it is, but I can see dots when I'm driving. And it's not floaters. I know what floaters are because I have those too. This is something different than floaters. So, yeah, they do. There they go again. They do stuff to my eyes, especially when I'm driving or when I'm looking at somebody or when I'm walking out for my break at work or when I'm going into the building to go to work. And I mean, these people are really, really sick, really sick. And there's no way in the world, how can people do this without God? I don't know. I just don't know. How can they
Because
do
misery
this?
loves company.
Who's misery?
They're miserable. They have to energy harvest just to survive. They're vampires. Like you can't live without you don't have enough soul in your body to live. So you're feeding on my soul. That's pathetic.
Is that Diane?
No. I'm saying TIs like me and you. I'm saying, how do they do it without God? How can they? How are they handling this without God? I don't know. I don't know. I would need Jesus in my life for real. This is
Well,
crazy.
they have to answer for all of this. This is, I'm going to say, if you torture one individual, we'll say two individuals torture one individual for 7, 8, 10, 20 years, at the end, God, what kind of prices did you pay to that? God is a forgiving God, but God is going to look at them and say, hey, I think we better think about sending you to the other place. You know? Really?
Exactly. Hey, I'm thinking about it. He's gonna do it. They're gonna burn for eternity. They're gonna burn alive for eternity. They doing all this like these little low level stalkers. Just take my picture when I took this turn. Them little low level stalkers. They're gonna burn into eternity, and they're gonna be the first one to go. Cause you know why? They know exactly every place where we live. They know what color car we drive. They know our name. They got so many. So when they get exposed, those people will be the first one pulled because they know too much. And their handlers is not going to protect them. So they're going to burn. They're going to burn in hell for eternity. They're going to burn alive, like alive. And they ain't no worry about dying, and you're going to burn for eternity. I got a special place for these people. When I say special place, you got a special place for these people. They're harming children and elderly. I mean, all of us, is they harming, but elderly and children, they can't shield themselves. They can't help themselves like somebody like me and you. They can't do it. A child is a child. An elderly is elderly. They can't do it. So it's really hard for them. hard for them. But God got a special place, and that's why my faith is so strong. That's how I get through day to day, because of God. I don't sit in the house and cry and scream and, oh my God, they doing this, they doing that. I get up, I go to work, I go shopping, I'll go to a family member house, or either I'll be on the phone with a friend. I'll do anything. I don't went cross country. I went from the East Coast to the West Coast by myself, and they followed me. They zapped me on the plane. But you think I was gonna let them stop me from going to that rally? No. So if you keep your faith in God, you could do anything while you're going through this targeting. Because I couldn't.
Okay, Janie, you got something in the background there?
No, what does it sound like?
Oh, it sounds like music or something.
Does it sound like a drum or something like that?
No, it sounds like TV or something.
I don't hear TV around me. But I know sometimes I think you guys will pick up reception or something. So my targeting is actually pretty bad in my apartment. So yeah, about the mirrors thing, that's a good point. It is. I think I've listened to a call of one perp. He talked about on the call that it was about a 1/4 inch thick. I think the mirror has to be at least a 1/4 inch thick. If it's less than that, it's gonna work, but not probably as effective. So.
Okay, it might. You see what's going to happen. Anything that's got a mirror finish on it is going to reflect that laser.
Okay. That's a good point. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing something like that in the place where I live right now. So still trying to work on the shielding.
Now, something spherical. I can't speak tonight. Spherical.
Yeah.
Like a round mirror, not like a ballroom type mirror, but a real mirrored ball would have a drastic effect on a laser, because I think it would split the laser up in a large mass, in a large circle that wouldn't hit you. But you'd have to be precise. But don't go crazy with mirrors, but just try it. Let me know.
Okay, that's a good point. Neil was mentioning that on his calls too. I was talking about the type of what is it? These like blue orbs or something coming into my room, and I've been trying different things, so we'll see. I noticed glass does help too. If it's pretty thick, it does help. Like glass bottles or things like that also help as well. So
If the
yeah,
glass,
What state are you in?
I'm in New York City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Good.
targeting is a lot more close in proximity because there's just a large number of people. So I get targeted by people who drive around trucks. I get targeted by a lot of the people in my apartment. And
So
then
you got my targeting.
oh, you live in the
That's
city too? I thought you.
I
You
live
get
I live in the city. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
okay, you get that
I'm in
too.
the hood to be exact.
Yeah.
I'm in the hood to be exact.
Okay,
Right.
I'm in the hood
Corona.
too. I'm in the hood of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's really bad here on the East Coast.
All right.
Oh
I
wow.
live in Corona. It's considered the hood. We made the paper for corrupt cops, and we made the paper for shootings near train stations.
Oh.
You can look that stuff up. It will
Oh.
come about every month, 2 months. There's something going on.
Yeah,
I'm surprised people still
they're trying to make all TIs homeless. They want us to be homeless, and they want to make us all suffer while we are in our homes, make us feel like prisoners in our own home, which is the opposite, the same side of the different side of the same coin. So they just want us to either be prisoners in our home or they want us to be homeless, and we don't deserve that.
Yeah, I know. I have to try to get out a little more. When I go near a body of water, which is what I don't live around right now, it does help. So, I'm thinking of maybe moving someday. We'll see. But right now, most of my work is out in the city. So, yeah.
I'm in Wyoming, by the way.
Oh, Wyoming.
I'm leaving. Yeah, it's still going on here, but not to the extent that it was when I was in Los Angeles. So,
Okay.
I can kind of understand what you guys are going. I do understand what you guys are going through.
I lived in Central Florida. There was a lot more land out than the city, so targeting was definitely different. I think we got bigger. I hear they were like bigger cars, or just they use bigger stuff and a lot more noise campaign than I think more so the city. Noise. I mean, the city does use its own noise campaign, but they use like these big military machines, I think.
You're
Like
right.
I
You're right.
stop
A
piercing
lot of more
sounds and things
noise
like that when
campaign.
I was in Central Florida. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
noise
there's more
You're
land
right.
or water.
Yeah.
You're right. Absolutely.
it seems to
Absolutely.
me that
You see,
LA is really probably one of our hottest areas, I believe, in terms of
LA?
targeting.
how
Yeah,
so?
yeah, just from
Oh
what I
wow.
hear. Yeah, just from
Yeah,
what
and also, sorry, Northern California too. But yeah, LA was unbearable.
yeah.
Florida's pretty bad too, Frank.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, we pretty
I
bad
keep
down here.
hearing about
What
Florida.
part of
I
Florida did you
keep
come
hearing
Yeah,
from?
it's
about
bad.
Florida.
It's
What part
bad.
What part of Florida?
I'm in Tampa, Florida, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's South Florida. So yeah, you guys
Yeah,
get it
it's
differently
bad.
too.
It's a beautiful state, but it's bad. The targeting is real bad.
Yeah, it depends where you go to. So
Yeah, I mean, even in Wyoming, like I could be 15 minutes away from a more populated area, and there's like a whole different experience, where it's just more noise campaigns. But Wyoming has less of the, cell towers and all that tech side. Not that that couldn't change, but I think it's just the area, whether it's more populated or, I mean, yeah, like if you were in Central Florida and more land around, then I would think that would be such a better experience.
The severity.
yeah, we have more cell towers in Central Florida. So yeah.
The severity of the attacks may be dependent on where they want shootings. There are a lot in Florida, and I live in LA. It's very bad in LA. But I mentioned that I was going to move to South America at one point about 10 years ago, and they didn't want me moving down there because they have no interest. They had no interest down there. Now they do, but they had no interest down there. So when you're in a city where they want attacks, they will increase the severity of the electronic harassment towards you. I think it's just a theory.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Scott always has a lot of right-on information. He just doesn't. He thinks about it for quite a while before he comes on and says anything. So when Scott does, I listen.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get like
and
that too sometimes because I don't know how everyone experiences targeting differently. So far in the city,
remember,
it sounds pretty close to what I experienced. The same thing with other people. So, but Florida, it's
yeah,
just so different. Go ahead. I keep wanting to say something.
no, going back to what you said about the bodies of water, that makes a lot of sense because there wouldn't be cell towers in the water, right? I mean, so if if we could find a peninsula or something surrounded, I don't know, that's not populated, not heavily populated.
Could I have your name? Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, this is Lisa.
Lisa. Okay, that's right. I knew I recognized you, but
Yeah,
all
I
right.
started joining like a week.
Yeah, Lisa's brand new.
Yeah. So these bodies of water, I've been really trying to figure out where's a great place and I left LA and Northern California and then planted here in Wyoming for a while. And we'll see how that goes. A little better, but.
Yeah, there's no place that's really good. But I really don't hear too much in the way of TI action in Alaska. I don't know whether it's the population or what. You guys
Well,
ever hear of TIs in Alaska?
Not at this point, so I can't really say.
Yeah, I think I heard of one.
Hmm.
So I don't know about that. We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's too cold and no sunlight. So I have to.
You have to drive around a
trade off.
lot. That's what it does look like.
Yeah, I guess it gets so cold that they have to have very special antifreeze up there. This goes below 50 below zero, and the antifreeze gels. So it's really cold up there.
Yeah.
No,
I
thank
heard, no, thank you. I saw a documentary on a lot of homeless people living in Alaska. It's hard. They're living out there in the cold.
Frank, don't you think that if people are walking around your house trying to get in Alaska, it's like the snow would make it leave lots of footprints?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking,
Sure.
yeah, and it wouldn't be very comfortable for them. I would think that would cut down on maybe we should all move to Alaska. You'd think that would cut down on the targeting because they're not going to get in your house that easily.
Yeah, if we can't
Definitely
build
not
one.
Hawaii. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, Hawaii, but it's lovely in Hawaii. They'd love to go there, but in Alaska, they may not be that interested. I don't know. This makes sense to me.
I've never lived in Alaska, so I can't say.
No, me neither.
As
Never
far
been to
as
Alaska.
Hawaii goes, you have to start looking at the trails coming from Fukushima. The people in Hawaii do not want to see it, but there are some red trails that hit Hawaii and then go around it. And Hawaii's not that far away from it.
They're going
Also,
all over
Hawaii. Go ahead.
the world.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
With Hawaii, I've noticed that it kind of appears in history a little bit for some stuff about military and technology, and then it doesn't show up, and then it starts to show up again. So I don't know if they have some just very different targeting too, or intense targeting, because it is a pretty expensive place.
Oh yeah, it's $5 a gallon for gas, or was a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah.
There was a woman who was targeted living in Maui, and she was homeless at the time.
Oh jeez.
I know with the snow, going back to what you said, it does help to see if there's any tracks. So in Wyoming, it snows like almost 9 months out of the year, so I keep an eye too on that tracks. But I mean, I guess they could always, I mean, that's dumb. They could carry a pail of snow and just like kind of cover it up and like walk backwards, but it's still a show. I mean, that's a lot of work. But make them work and make them spend money is what I think. If they're going to harass us, take as much resources as we can pull from them so they'll have less for the next TI.
Yeah, I like that point, Lisa. I like that.
Also, you know something else we were talking on a call the other night about the fact that if they get paid through our reactions. When we react, they get a certain amount of money, you know, and that's kind of their job, is to annoy us and get us to react, and then they get paid. If we just stop reacting, they might move along because they won't be getting paid if we don't react.
I haven't had that experience yet. It's like they move on to something else or keep trying other things with me. So
No, she's telling the she's telling the truth.
I guess I haven't hit that point yet. So
Linda's telling the truth. If you don't react, you're gonna be less. It's gonna be less.
They want to make money.
Yeah, they want to make money, and they ain't making nothing off me. I ain't letting them make nothing off me. That's what I'm saying. You have to just be quiet, keep praying. Yeah. What happened?
They might move along. They might move to something stronger for a while, but there comes a time when they're going to throw their hands up and find an easier target, I think.
But why
they're
not
going to find
an Oscar performance? We are Oscar-winning actors. They want us for a reason. We need to make sure that we give them a show because they obviously are so miserable.
Well, I don't care to give them a show. I mean, no money, no fun.
Why would we give them a show? They get that's giving them brownie points. That's giving them their gift card and their little bit of cash. I'm not doing that. I gave them a show last weekend at the rally.
Oh, that
by me participating in the rally. So yeah, so that's giving them enough. That's giving them enough. I'm not giving them no brownie points.
Yeah.
Not me.
Might as well cut them out as best we can. Okay. Uh-oh. Right now, I'm buying Jack some more squeaker toys. We're having fun. Just thought I announced that.
They obviously need us. They need us. You know, they can't keep going without us. So we have to exploit them. They want to self-preserve at all costs. We need to use the government against the government.
Okay. But what we don't need to do is react.
I saw an interesting video that shows that there's a mass exodus of Republicans and Democrats splitting up from one end of the country to the other. I don't understand it. I don't understand the significance. I thought it was kind of a iffy movie anyway. I mean, video, but I don't know. It's out there.
I thought that the Republicans were moving over to the Democrat side because people are getting pretty uncomfortable about Trump, you know?
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant physically moving Republican areas in the country. And the Democrats were moving to Democratic areas in the country, yeah.
Huh. Well, we hope that we're not getting ready for civil war.
Nah, I don't think so.
I hope not.
When this targeting comes to the surface, there's a real good possibility of it.
Think?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think they're going to pass the organized stalking legislation in the West Coast?
Well, the West Coast seems to be ahead of everyone in terms of their legislature. So I hope that some of the other states adopt a few of California's laws. You have one that came out quite some time ago about satellite weapons. That could come in really handy.
Do you think it's?
2005, I think.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's
pretty advanced.
That's quite a while away.
They also have a new, I don't want to get political, but just let me say this. We also have a brand new bill that if Trump doesn't produce his tax returns, he won't be on the ballot here. I just
Is that right?
Now that's power, boy. You know.
Yeah, people. Yeah. Like when you start talking about money, then people get pretty serious.
Yeah.
Hey Frank, I've got a question.
Sure.
Our numbers, or I should put it this way, the names that the moderators, primarily Derek, has a record, I would hope, of everyone who is a TI, that we have their names and some other information like phone numbers and email addresses and stuff like that, that we could get in touch with those people. How many of them are there that are able to get in touch with, that where we could kind of call up some people and let them know, or put it on the our web address and heads up on, we're going to put names together and then draw up some kind of a, like, I don't know if the term affidavit or a letter to Congress or our senators or whoever, but put something together that has numbers of who we are, why we are, when we are, where we are.
Yeah, we have things like that. They have to be updated continually because people change email addresses, they move, they change phone numbers, like they change underwear just about today.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Smith.
That's putting it a different way, but
yeah, Linda, you were speaking.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't remember. No, I just kind of chuckled when you said they change addresses or phone numbers like underwear. Just made me chuckle.
But what my point is that for us to get some numbers together with a letter and kind of almost like what is it called when you get
a petition?
Yeah, it's like a petition, but not a petition. It's just letting them know with our letter of what's happening to us, that no two TI cases are the same, an affidavit. Yeah, and to a statement.
Would like to see it say that the targeting, you're breathing into the phone, Mark. The targeting is very, very close from one person to another. We don't want to say that no two are alike. That wouldn't be good. You catch
well,
my drift?
just to let them know that we're out there, that this is happening to us, that people are dying because of it, and people going postal that you hear on the news every other night. There's a reason for it. And not every one of them, you couldn't say, are being electronically manipulated and being told, turned into Manchurians electronically and stuff, but a good percentage are. And that this sort of thing is going on, and the shooters at baseball practices and stuff like that are that person that did the shooting at that practice is still alive, and was he hearing voices? You know, what kind of information do we have on that guy? and to just stay in touch with how many numbers do we have of people that would be able to come forward and with an affidavit and appear in that letter with being present in the letter. How many do we have?
I would have
more
to,
than 1,000.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like maybe 10,000.
That will actually come out and do that.
Yes, I would.
The numbers are going up every day.
Yes.
Every
day. Do you think
it
would be worth our time to start calling up some people and asking them if we could use their testimonial signatures and whatever it takes? Information on the phone numbers and stuff.
I've talked to some that don't want to get involved anymore.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a couple of bozos out there.
Okay, let me see. G8 would like to say a few words. Goodness. Well, she wanted to. Goodness.
Oh, hi. I was out of the room for a minute.
Oh,
hi,
okay.
everybody. Frank, what I wanted to tell you is I know you vape. So I told you about that Nicotrol inhaler.
Yep.
Well, I just got a prescription refill on it. And if you can get a prescription from your doctor, any of the smokers out there, it's free. And they shouldn't charge you for it, because when the tobacco companies lost that big lawsuit, money went to all the states, a lot of money. And so that's supposed to go to helping people not smoke. So this is, it's called, that's what I was going and getting out of my bedroom. It's called a Nicotrol inhaler, and it's 10 milligrams for each cartridge with 4 milligrams of nicotine delivered. Now, the cool part of this is, Frank, they give you the little inhaler apparatus. You put the cartridge in, and no smoke or vape comes out of it. You're just inhaling pure nicotine, which is still an addictive substance, but you could actually do it in your house or anywhere that you happen to be. So, and it's free. They're supposed to give it free. Now, in Idaho, here in Potato Land, they do. So they're using the money like they're supposed to from those big settlements from the tobacco companies. I don't know about Massachusetts, but I didn't even have to pay a copay. Now, those that don't have insurance, you should still be able to get it free. And what you do is quote, hey, the state gets money from the big tobacco settlement. And how I know all this, I went to a nicotine class. Oh, it was about 2 years ago. And because I've tried everything to quit smoking. I have smoked on and off and on and off and on and off. I've done everything but electric shock treatments. And this is very, very helpful. And it's less dangerous, according to this, the data, than the vaping, because the vaping is kind of it vaporizes, but it's kind of a fluid that does go into your lungs. I learned that in this class. And so they suggest the Nicotrol inhaler. Now, I've used patches before on and off, and the patches are supposed to be given free, but they don't, because they're over the counter. and they can be quite costly. In other words, they really don't want people to quit smoking. They pretend like they do.
I'll be
But
right back, folks.
so that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, I'll be right back in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Right here.
Linda is there, and she can.
And so is our friend Goodness 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Linda.
Hi, hon. How are you doing? Thanks for the information about the stop. Has it helped? Have you stopped?
Yeah, when
Good
I
girl.
use these, because it's the nicotine that
Yes.
makes you addicted. Of course, there's a psychological component to smoking too.
Yeah.
Holding the cigarette and all
Well,
of
it's like a
that
distance.
stuff.
It's kind of like a distancer. It kind of protects you from getting, I don't know, people within. I don't know. Yeah, there is something to it. That.
Yeah, so if you know anybody that wants to quit smoking, I just like to give out information that is, somewhat that has helped me about anything that has helped me. Now, that doesn't mean it works for everybody, that's for sure. Everybody's an individual, but this is very, very helpful. And I think that it's good that the states spend money on some of that money instead of pocketing their own or lining their own pockets with the money. You know how the politicians can be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How unusual for them to actually pass it around.
Well, at first, after I went to that class, they weren't paying for it. So, I'm not shy about opening up my mouth, especially when it comes to money that the states have. So so I get it free. And I don't think I'm not grateful. I'm very grateful for it. But I know that a lot of TIs don't have money for certain things like this. And they certainly don't have money for smoking. And it is becoming a world of non-smokers now. And that's probably good. And I just, I like things to be my own decision. I don't like to be told what to do like a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was Linda, are you there?
I'm right here listening.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to say, are you still going to do a show with Frank about the Patriot Act?
As soon as I get home, I gather all my info. There's so much information out there, and even if there's a variety of things that are said about. Yes, it is going to be up for renewal on June 1. No, it's not. The bottom line is, if we get on our we need to get on our Congress people, because yes, I am. It's going to come in a while. Is what I'm trying to say.
I'm so grateful that you're doing that, because it is so important. And
it is.
When it first came out, I was writing a lot of letters and reading up on it. And first, I found out that the libraries, it used to be that they wouldn't give out any information, but the Patriot Act now allows them, if any agent comes in and says, "What are they checking out at the library?" They have to give that now. It's all because of the Patriot Act. I don't care if they know what I read. But
well, the thing about at first when they said that they're going to be on your computer, I used to think, well, I got nothing to hide. I don't care. But then I thought, if somebody's got their speakerphone on anyway. And I thought, well, what? We don't know at this point what they're planting on your computer. I mean, I've gone through my computer and found some pretty odd stuff that I didn't put there. So yeah, it does matter. I'm sorry. Go ahead, hon. It really, a lot of stuff matters. We need to.
Somebody keeps muting me on my computer. Do you hear background noise? Because I have nothing on.
You're echoing.
Uh-oh. That means Mr. Smith is coming for us. Mr. Smith.
Who's Mr. Smith?
Okay, I'll get off then.
The one from the movie The Matrix. That movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, gotcha.
Be careful.
I should have known that. No, your mics were interacting there for a couple seconds, but they stopped.
How is it now?
You're fine. You can't.
Okay. Maybe I was too close to the computer. I'm still getting used to this.
Yeah, takes a while.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, hon.
What I was going to say, you know, I feel like I have to get right up on top of the microphone. It's weird for me to talk to a screen. The whole thing's weird. But, you know, I'm glad I know how to do this now, so I don't have to get off the computer and then make the phone call. It's easier this way. Frank taught me this.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Desmond.
I feel like I have to yell.
You know what we can do? If you all want to, I'm sorry, Linda.
I was just going to say, go ahead.
We can use our video cams. I've got room, let me see, 25 video cams simultaneously I can have on here.
Oh, I'm having a bad hair day. That's not going to work.
Tell you what, when I get really pretty.
Yeah. I have no makeup on. I'm having a bad hair day. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a bad hair day too.
There, well, that does it. It ends it.
Yep.
Is there any way we could get entertainment lists for targeted individuals so we can see ourselves for how important we really are, like that Truman Show movie?
I don't know. I'm gonna try and
I don't know that movie.
I never saw it either.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about it.
Which one?
The Truman Show with Jim Carrey.
Oh, the Trump. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's an incredible movie.
Come on, Jack.
Well, that's what this is like. It's just like that. Yeah, if you want to explain your targeting, just say, hey, go watch the Truman Show.
Frank, they keep stopping me from downloading apps on my phone. I don't know. I went to Verizon. They fixed it, but what they do is I'm smart enough to know. The last time I went to Verizon, they stopped me from doing apps, and I went and took the phone in, and they had the guy erase all my pictures. So now I'm gonna take them, put them on my email, and then send them out to Pastor Black, and then take the phone to Verizon, because what they do, they had the guy, they already know where we're going. So they had already told them what to do with all my pictures that I had of what they was doing, because they done stole so many of my pictures. They done inflicted so many of my phones. So I lost a lot of stuff that I had saved for what they have done. But I can recount it because my brain is just like, oh my God, I'm remembering everything they done from day one now. But they keep hacking my phone. I need a new one, so I went on. I ordered one, but it never came. I tried to have it shipped to my post office box. They said, "Oh, we can't ship it there. We need an address." So I shipped it to my mother's house, but it never came. So I tried to get on today online at the resource center. They blocked me from trying to get the phone. So I know what they're doing. They want me to keep the phone because they have to, every time I switch phones, they have to map their phone to my phone. They have to keep doing it and doing it. I keep switching phones. I done had like 5 flip phones and I don't know how many smartphones. So yeah, that's what they're doing.
Okay, I just wanted to run this by you. We might be able to start learning more if we, say, run a 20-minute video. We'll say from 9 to 9:30 or whenever everybody gets here, from 9:30 to 10, whatever. And then when I come back from RBN, we can talk about it. And meanwhile, you can be thinking about it. We might learn something from it because we can all discuss it. till the wee hours of the morning if we want to.
Oh, that's a
You
good
said
idea.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll see if I can pick out a short one that would be good for us to listen to, be informative. God only knows there's enough YouTubes out there. I don't know how Google stores them all.
I sent you one today on Fritz Springmeier, who tells all about the Illuminati. Did you get that, Frank?
I'm sure I did. You send it to my email?
I did. And
Okay.
you know, why I sent it is because you read that paper from G. Edward Griffin, and Fritz Springmeier really spells it out pretty well. They put him in prison falsely, of course, because he knows so much, and he's such a good writer, and he backs up everything that he writes with proof, good bibliographies and everything. So they took all his money and they put him in prison, and then he started putting out some of his writings, and this is probably the only person they've paid back financially. They paid him back all the money they stole from him. And I was surprised when he said that. He was surprised that they did.
Well, that sounds like a good one. I'll
Yeah,
have to
well,
have
I
a look
sent
at
it
that.
to you. It's in your, I sent it today. I try
Okay.
to send you only good ones.
Okay. Thanks, Chap. Chap, in the chat, Chapawee's got a couple of good ones, looks like. Battle Space, Neuroethics, Schizophrenia, Neuroweapons, Interlinked Assaults on Humanity. That sounds like it might be good.
Yeah. Are you doing RBN tonight, Frank?
Nope, starting again Monday.
Oh, Monday. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'd be late and in trouble if I was. It's 10:28 now.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at my clock. It's 8:28 here. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. What are we doing here? I'm gonna see if I can find that. You sent it today, huh?
I sent it today. I sent it, I think, this afternoon. And I also requested, if you could, not, you don't have to right now, of course, a copy of that paper that you
Oh, I
read.
see it. I see it. Yeah, I could do that. That's easy.
Thanks.
Oh, Fritz Springmeier.
Yeah, he's pretty famous about, you know, he knows more about the Illuminati than I think anybody. His books are very difficult to read. He's highly intelligent.
Yeah, we talked about the Illuminati, and actually Sets gave us a really good article on that too, so we can put that in the newsletter as well. Sets' article is going in, and we can put your video in and go from there. Anybody who wants videos in the newsletter, just send them to me. I've got feet to work with.
Your
And
newsletter is so good, Frank. I so appreciate it. It's
oh,
a really
You
thorough.
said anybody want what in the newsletter?
if you want a video that you have in the newsletter, just send it on over.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I got one.
I'm not backed up now. All right, send it on over.
Okay.
We'll put it in there.
Oh, actually, Linda, can you send it to him?
I don't see her. I
The
don't know whether she
video.
left.
Oh.
I hope she does. Okay, I guess Linda must have either left the call or got kicked off the call. She'll probably come back. That's what
Okay.
she does.
All
She
right.
comes on and off, when she feels like it.
Okay.
Looks
Okay.
like Melinda's here tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, we have somebody new here. Heather is new, and Janie is new, Lisa's new, and there's Lou. Got a good crowd. Chap is getting hit really bad. Chapaway, she's getting really slammed around, and so many others. If I could mention them all, is David on here tonight? David was going to join us. I don't know whether he's joining us by phone. He gave me a call like about 2 hours before. Must have been about 7 o'clock. So
I got hit so bad with the vibration night before last. It was horrible, and they sleep deprived me, and the my shielding wasn't working, and I was walking around like a zombie, where you're so tired and you can't sleep, and the place was vibrating, and it was just horrendous. I finally got some sleep last night. That had happened the night before last, and I got a little bit of a break and I got some sleep. It really, another thing they're doing is attacking my right hip when I go to sleep, even with the shielding. I don't know if that's from the vibration, if it's EMF, or if it's sonic, or I don't know what it is they're attacking my hip with, but oh my God, it's really quite painful. And I thought of Millicent Black, who they attacked her knee so bad that it was bone on bone on her knee. She ended up having a total knee done. And I don't know what they were attacking her with, but I saw the x-rays and the CT scan of her knee, and it was horrible, and it was all from the dew. And gosh, I'm going to have to buy some more magnets. I think I'll buy that stuff that Linda uses, where you can wrap the magnets around you with the Velcro. So this pain, and I have a huge high pain tolerance, but it's like something I've not felt before. It's like they're going inside my hip and breaking it or doing something. I've had broken bones before, and that's how it feels. And so I really don't know what they're using. I bought new Rachel Ray hot pads. I've got the Kevlar. I'm going to get some more of that. I've got the copper shielding. I've got one layer upon another layer. Going to bed is like a major ordeal, but whatever they were using night before last, I'm telling you, nothing was working. They were really, really nailing me. And it seems like the more I talk or the more letters that I write, the worse the attacks become. But much like what Paula says, they're not going to stop me at all. One cop in Pennsylvania, when I lived there in this hodunk little town, he pulled me outside and he said to me, "You're going to have to shut your mouth," because I was, talking a lot about the Masonic filth. And he said, "You've got to shut your mouth."
Who said that? He was a cop?
And I said, well, that isn't going to happen. And and I've held true to that. So I don't see me shutting my mouth over any of this until it stops.
Yeah. Well,
This is Huggy Bear. I had a sheriff in a small town I landed in, and he told me, he said, "Hun, you have drones on you." I mean, that was his exact word.
a
They were
cop said
coming
that?
down to, no, a sheriff,
A
and the
sheriff?
drones were yeah, they were coming straight down to the ground on me. There were women that came into the subdivision and witnessed them breaking into my home. They were pulling pickup trucks up to my house on the lawn with ladders. And at nighttime, they were zooming in and out of my driveway real loud, revving the tires and swooping airplanes over my roof. I mean, I felt like a third world country, and I was all alone. And I there was a couple of days I went out on the front porch. This was during the day, and I had my robe on. I don't know if I just come out of the shower or what. And they were laughing at me, and they pulled out like a cooker. I called it the People Cooker before I even read it online, that website. And every day this guy lost it. I mean, he was out of his mind across the street. He would pull that out, and if he went to work and forgot, he'd come back aggravated and pull it out and face my home. And then that other neighbor would put a plastic satellite dish facing me. You just can't make this stuff up. And I filmed it all, and I took pictures, and they would put a yellow gurney behind my house all the time, which represented my husband being taken to shock trauma. And there were 55-gallon drums everywhere, and they'd bang on them and shoot guns. They were doing hand signals out in front of my house during the day. They were flying Nazi flags everywhere. And I was there all alone. And these women witnessed it, and they went back, and their husband, they were detectives, and one of them's husband was a former high-level New York State detective, and these people stepped in. Next thing I know, when I'm being chased down the road, by so-called gang stalkers, they would come out of nowhere and chase them down the road in their vehicles, and that went on night and day. Whenever I went near their church, they'd stop at a red light and not go that distance. They'd leave me be.
Boy, they didn't want you
I mean,
near the church? Why?
they were afraid of the detectives because that was their church. There were 5 or 6 of them that went to that church, and there were 200 people, and everybody became protective over me, but they couldn't be with me all the time. And I mean, this stuff went on at night, day. It was like being in another world. And finally, I was in hysterics when planes were following me and helicopters, and they have yellow gurneys hanging from the helicopters. And I called them. I was upset, and I called, and I said, I spoke with his department. I said, no, just don't have him call me back. And I'm feeling like I better not. And he called me back on my cell phone, and he said, "Hon," point blank, he said, "you have drones on you, and they followed you from Maryland." I mean, it's exact words.
How big
And
are
the
these drones, Huggy Bear?
Some of them are, like the size of, the airplanes big airplanes that you had as a kid or you see now, and they can remote control them. Remember them? And you put your arm lengths out. Some were that size. Some were much bigger, like the size of bigger than a pickup truck. And they were coming straight down to the field on me, those big ones and the small ones, zooming all around me. Even had one that looked like a bird. And I think Fort Bragg wasn't far from there, and I'm wondering if it came from there. But I later would find out in my literal almost backyard was the CIA torture rendition aero contractor airport. And I'm pretty sure they had everything to do with it.
Oh,
It
well,
was
thanks,
horrible.
Huggy.
Look, the detectives, they told me that they were lied to about these weapons. They were really sorry. They said they were lied to. They didn't know they were going to be used on any of us. And they tried to stop it in front of me. They did, about 4 or 5 of them. They were making phone calls left and right trying to get it stopped. They did try. And right before I left there, they had a big 200+
people meeting, and they had devices so nobody could hear. And it was over 200 people, and they entitled it. It was in my honor. It was called "A Nation of Traitors to Your Constitution and Bill of Rights," and it was about 9/11 being an inside job. And they said that they had to learn and listen to, not just me, and that if it weren't for me landing there, they would never have known 9/11 was an inside job because they were told I was a 9/11 truther. And that's the worst thing you can be marked as. That's absolute
Okay,
worst.
I'll be right back in a couple minutes, guys. I'm going to get some coffee. I've been trying to do that, but the conversation's been interesting. I'll be right back.
I wanted to say I watched everybody on this call, including Frank. You got to hear the latest. Dr. Robert Duncan. He's got it.
Did Huggy get cut off? Hello? Hi, this is Goodness. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Oh, okay. Well, I think
I was thrown off.
Huggy got cut off.
I got
What was
cut
she
off,
saying
yeah.
about Robert Duncan?
Well, the latest, he's got a live video over there. You need to watch it. He's got it over on his Google hard drive. You just click on the link, and he opens up completely. It was to MIT, and he's laying it out about our targeting, every detail.
Yeah, Huggy, we were talking about that early on the call earlier. Were you
Did
here?
you see it? No, I just dialed in.
I thought maybe you just came on, yeah.
Oh no, I did. It's been a tough day, and so I was in there taking a detox bath. I mean, I was
good for
pouring
you.
everything. Activated charcoal hit it. You know, I was trying anything. Himalayan salt, Epsom salt, let's see, Dawn dish detergent, and what do you call it, 40 mule team, and then I poured the activated charcoal in. I got in it. Oh my God, they were popping off.
I'm telling you, I think I want to get some stock in borax. I buy so much of it, and
yeah.
I mean, I do, and it's not cheap. And I use a lot of it every day. I wash clothes with it. I do the detox with it, and what I've been doing is I take in my jar that I mix it in, I put about a half of borax and then half of baking soda and then the dish soap, and then I stir it up, and then I add hot water, and then I take like a loofah pad or any scrub kind of washcloth or scrub brush, and I just scrub. And I'm thinking, this sounds kind of gross, but I'm thinking of getting a toilet brush and using as a scrub brush, because I've been looking at them and they seem to be rougher. You know, I'm trying, and I use the line.
Be careful, you don't scratch yourself. I scrubbed so hard. I left scratch marks, and I'm getting hit in it where them scratch marks are. They're penetrating inside, you know. People, I can't think of the name of the website up there. God, it was good. And these people showed, they had their legs outside the bathtub, and they were showing all the smart sensors all over their legs with some kind of black light or something. And I mean, they said we've got all that smart stuff, and these were nano sensor, smart sensors, and it's all neuro brain. And of course, that's what this is all about. The secret, Dr. Robert Duncan says, is this is cybernetic hive minding. That's what gang stalkers are. And then you'll notice, like somebody mentioned to me earlier, Star, that like you'll see 6, 7, 8 TIs around the country. They're all having the same type of targeting. We are a node, and they're picking those nodes and doing that to us, literally. Yeah, there's
I
even
really
two.
think this is coming out, though. This is breaking through, and I believe they're very, very frightened. This isn't going to go on much longer. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but some realize that it's just not going to go on much longer. And when it breaks, it's going to be people are going to be that haven't been targeted that will start thinking to themselves that, yeah, maybe they have been targeted. And it's going to cause a lot of anger in our country. And we have all somewhat gotten past a lot of our anger because we've dealt with it for so long. But for those the people that don't know about this, it's going to be a real shock, a big, huge shock to their system. And they'll start thinking about, especially if they've had cancer or, when they start finding out what this can do to you. And that it was hard for me to realize that our country does this. Once I got past that.
I have a hard time with that as well. I was a Miss Little Americana, and I became I was U.S. historian, and I really love to dig deep into our history. And it's not pretty going back at times, because I'm part Native American and part English German, so I've had to kind of balance it, but I lean toward my Native Americans 100%. They were treated horrific here by the U.S. military. Of course, they were doing it for, you got to think about, I don't think, I'm going to be honest, as a historian, number one, we never lost the Queen, the royalty, they never lost control of America.
No,
that's why they declared, that's why they did the Declaration of Independence. They were declaring their independence, and that, and the Revolutionary War. My seventh great grandfather fought in it under George Washington, Brandywine twice, and he's buried down there by Sevier County, Tennessee, Dollywood. Matter of fact, my grandfather was born and raised where Dollywood is, the exact land location. She bought it from his sisters, my late grandfather. And so I got a lot of history down there going back 1700s, and a lot of them were granted land down there for fighting in the Revolutionary War, and they really thought they were doing the right thing. They really did. If you read their diaries, they stood by it. They were true heroes back then, but it's not. It just seems like we've lost that. Maybe we haven't per se, but I'm being honest. Our military, I mean, they're bombing the hell out of women and children and anybody they can.
It's just a shame what has become of what has become of our country. And I love my country still, but this is so beyond anything that's human.
Hey,
it's just hard to contemplate at times, even now.
It is. I have a hard time wrapping words around to describe it. Horrendous, heinous. I can't come up with any more evil. Yeah,
the word evil doesn't justify it.
It bothers me. The U.S. is supposedly the most powerful in the world, and this is what they do. Wow, how dishonorable, to say the least.
Well, it's dishonorable to humanity, not just to this country. It's happening in every country, but for it to happen here it just is so unfathomable, even to this day. And it's happening, and once you awaken, there's no turning that around. Once you go down that rabbit hole, there's no going back. Then you become, either like them, or you fight this in any way that you can. That I try to keep it legal and decent, but it's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to
Endure.
endure.
This is on. And do you go through? I don't know how many times through the course of the day. I mean, I don't know. I want to crawl into a corner, but I keep going. And I don't even know why I keep going.
God keeps you going. I believe that. And I think, once in a while I feel a little bit sad and sorry for myself. I can't get there that much because it drains you. But, this is done to me because I'm a whistleblower. And I thought that, what I whistle blew on was the right thing. And it was the right thing. And I would do the same thing over again. But to be harmed because you are telling information that has big crimes have been done, that's really unsettling to me. And it doesn't make any sense to me. So you're a bad person if you're a good person. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but I don't like crime. And
I
I'm
was
not going
put
to
on this because
participate in them.
yeah, I was put on this because I exposed major. I mean, we're talking murder. They hired one of the top 10 in the country out of Washington D.C. to go up against little old me, and I knew when OSHA was backing me up, it was their fault. Period. And something was done that I didn't agree with. I had a lawyer that I thought was very unethical, and he allowed the other side to deposition me early on, and I agreed to it. I didn't want to. I did it begrudgingly, and I had him type something up that I signed to say that I don't agree to this. It's just legal advice. It's on him. And when they were done, they had 30 years experience, and this is for the other side. They said that no court in the land would turn me down. So that was a nail in my coffin, and I'm thinking, yes, And the first law firm that they hired quit, the other side, and they filtered a message back to me, and all they had was they were being told to do something to me that they couldn't do, and live with themselves and remain in business in good conscience. And I wonder if it was this. I'll never know,
Yeah.
They tried to kill
The
me.
news is it's going to stop. It's not going to go on much longer. There's too much information out there now, and it's going to stop. But when it stops, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen at that point. But it's going to stop. I know that. And we're going to have a big party, and we're already planning it. Right, Whitey? She's making pies.
Okay, thanks guys for your input. What I'd like to find, oh, there she is. I was wondering,
Hi,
Linda.
who are you talking about?
Linda. Yeah, can you give us
Yes.
a rundown, basically A to Z?
Probably not A
on
to Z.
the Patriot
Patriot
Act.
Act?
Yeah.
Well, I just essentially know about well, actually it's all on my other computer. I could give it to you very thoroughly if I had another computer up. Just basically gives a premise for them to do what they're doing to us. The FISA courts cannot reject the FBI's request for a warrant. I know we're all over the FISA courts. We think they're horrible. Well, it's not them. It's pursuant to the Patriot Act. They cannot reject a request for a warrant from the FBI pursuant to the Patriot Act. So they can get a warrant for anything to tap our phones, to come into our homes, to do anything. And sometimes they're just given a blank warrant. They come in and fill them out. And that's allowed by the Patriot Act.
John Doe warrants?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. They go into your home, and when they find something, they put it on the warrant. You know, like, we want that. Okay, we're going to put that on the warrant, kind of thing. It's the most, it has absolutely undermined it's so much of our Constitution, our First Amendment, because they can go get documents from our doctors, from our lawyers, from anybody. And that doctor and that lawyer cannot tell you. They can get them from, well, they can get all kinds of documents. They can find out what books you read by going to books. I mean, you know, that's not so disturbing to me. What disturbs me is the really personal documents that they should not have access to. The Patriot Act gave them access. They can go, like I said, our doctors and they tell the doctors, if you tell a person we've been here, we will prosecute you. Same thing with everything. Everybody can have access to absolutely our entire lives, and nobody can tell us that they've been there. So we don't know what they're setting up.
They passed it. Let's see, we got 9/11, right? September 11th, 2001. You know, 9/11. October 26th, under Bush Jr., they signed it. Boom, it went in. That quick. It gave them sweeping search and surveillance, domestic law enforcement, and foreign intelligence agencies. Eliminated all checks and balances. This is coming from EFF.org, I might add.
Well, it eliminated all of the checks and balances that we have to protect ourselves and the Constitution. The First Amendment. Just a minute. Frank asked me to say it, and I need to do that.
Oh,
okay?
I'm sorry. I will put my okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just being bitchy tonight.
Thank you, Huggy. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, thank you. The Fourth Amendment, we have no right to protect ourselves. We can't, for instance, if they're at the wrong house with a warrant, if we're there and they have to talk to us, you know, then we can say, you know, this is not even my address. We can't do that. They can come into our homes when we're not home, and we have no way to protect ourselves, for instance. And for instance, that the ACLU gives, I think is hysterical. I'm not sure anybody else does. But they say, like, for instance, if they're claiming they're looking for a stolen car, but they're going through your dresser drawers looking for it, you can stop them. You know, tell them you're not going to find a car in there. It's that kind of, you know, ridiculousness with which they operate. They say they just go in and look for anything. We have no protection, and then we have no. I'm not sure what the fifth. I forget the important part of the Fifth Amendment, but we just don't have any right to protect ourselves anymore at all. And like I say, you know, and the surveillance aspect, I'm sure that's in there. In fact, I know it is. The NSA surveillance is part of it. That kind of grew up real big under the Patriot Act. They can do anything and is allowed by the Patriot Act. And that's why we need to get on that. I'm not so sure it's coming up for a vote on June 1, which I thought it was, but I don't even know that matters that much. If we get on Congress repeatedly and you know, both our senators and our representatives, and go after them and do it repeatedly, I think if we have an agreement that we all write once a month, and I'll be glad to get the congressional information that can give you can just tap on there, double click, and go to whoever represents you and their phone numbers, or you can go to a site that has all the phone numbers of all the senators. In fact, when this came up in 2015, I called every senator in the country, and I was on that phone, and I was very disappointed by some of the reactions, and some of them were very, very appreciative. Some were, yeah, so what kind of attitude. In fact, Dianne Feinstein's office was one of those. But if we stay on them and on them and on them, I think we can get, you know, bottom line is if they don't protect us, we don't need to vote them back in. You know, we do have power. We have the power of the vote. And that's the most powerful thing we have, I think, when it comes to our own protection. And if we get on the phone, and I think they're pretty much, most of them are like 800 numbers, so it's not going to cost you anything. Some of it's area code 202, which is, I think, Washington, D.C. But some of them a lot of them are 800. We can get on that phone constantly and tell our friends to get on the phone constantly. This is the bottom line to our targeting, in my opinion. I know that they've been abusing us for years, but not like the Patriot Act has allowed. They ran amok. They just ran crazy with it. So that's really what we need to do, you guys. And I wish I had more of the other information on my other computer that I could read it, bit by bit. But we really, I think this is the most important thing we can do ourselves, and it's the most powerful. We can have all kinds of, meetings and rallies and my only issue with that is, that's great. I think it's great for the energy for people and all of that. It's wonderful. But at the same time, we end up talking to ourselves about our situation. And in a rather not minute, but a strict manner, where if we talk to the Congress about just the general Patriot Act, we want it gone. And if they do vote to continue it, we won't vote for them. Even Nancy Pelosi voted to continue it, which I was mortified to find out. But I think it's supposed to run out. Some people say it's supposed to run out at the end of this year. We just need to get on the phone. No matter when it comes up, we need to get on the phone and talk to them. It's the biggest dent we can make, I think, in our targeting. We can go in circles and wander around and try to figure it out. And what are they doing? Do we know what they're doing? Do we know why they're doing it? No. But we do know that they're having permission to do it. And if we attack it, if we take their legs out from under them, so to speak, I think we can bring it down. I think we're powerful enough. We are across the country, on these calls. We are across the country. We can have impact. We really can. It will really improve our lives. And I think the more we talk about it, the more calls we get on, the more we write about it, the more we get it out there, we will have an impact, because this is something people, they may not understand what frequencies do what to whom and how, and how they hook up, and do they trust you? I don't know. How do they get them in your house? I don't know. That kind of thing. We can go in those circles for years. But the Patriot Act is something that people understand. They can go to your home, and now it's legal for them to go into your home and not even tell you. They can take your records and not even tell you from your home. They can take your records if they decide they want them. They can deputize people and send them in your home. It's just insane. They can, have a warrant to listen to your phone calls, have a warrant to get into your computer. They can have anything. So, we need to, I think that's the absolute base where we need to get them. Take their legs right out from under them, I think. And some people say, oh, that won't matter because they'll just call it another kind of act. We can stay on top of them. And if we keep in touch with the ACLU, even though I know the ACLU hasn't specifically taken up our cause, they sure are taking up the cause. And since this cause is at the base of what's happening to us, I just think it's huge. I think we really could make a difference here. I don't think we have to figure it out much other than that, frankly. But that's just me. I don't get a lot of energy going on much stuff. This I do. So Frank, next, what is it, Wednesday? When you're on next?
Monday.
Monday. Okay. I will bring the connection for everybody to use to double click and go to their representatives, and please, you guys do it.
Yeah, please. That'd be great, Linda.
Yeah. Oh man, it's huge. It's huge. And thank you, Frank. Thank you for giving me the
You want to jump on radio Monday night? It's an hour. And you speak only for like 40 minutes, and I'll help you.
I know.
It's up to you.
Well, thank you. Okay. Because I can't imagine anybody calling in and attacking me, and saying, what are you talking about, lady? And even if they do, I know what I'm talking about. So,
exactly.
If I have energy towards something, yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Okay. What night? This is Monday night?
Monday night at 10.
Why does that scare me? It scares me. Because believe it or not, I'm shy. No, it doesn't seem like it, but I am.
Well, you have a very good speaking voice, and you are very knowledgeable on what you're talking of.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's not. You make me.
Who is that?
That's Mark, I think. That's you, Mark?
Did somebody want to say
Linda?
something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Huggy. I have my thoughts on it, but I'm interested in your opinion on why do you think they put the Patriot Act out there right after 9/11?
Oh, I think it has everything to do with 9/11. I think 9/11 was set up. I think 9/11 was intended. I think the Bush family wanted control of the world anyway. This was one way to get it, and this was one way to shut us down, boy. Every which way they wanted to. The Patriot Act was written before 9/11. It was passed afterwards, but it was written before. It was written in before.
Wasn't
It was.
the author?
Excuse me?
Who was the author? The author was darn it, he had something to do with over.
I can look it up. I'm just the impact that it has had is huge, and I do think
it's
there is
extremely
no.
unconstitutional.
It destroys our Constitution. That's the insane part about it. You can't freedom of speech, like doctors can't tell us when our records have been taken. That's freedom of speech, and
it's shocking to me that Americans took it.
Excuse me?
I mean, it shocks me that Americans.
Oh,
the majority of Americans went side. Yeah, I mean that blew me away. Like, so it was an. I feel like we lived in an illusion, and
it was. We were afraid, but what Bush did, Huggy, was Bush said, if you don't sign it, if we get hit again, you are going to be blamed, and he said that to every single person in Congress. You don't sign this now, when the attack starts coming or whatever, it's going to be on you. And it scared the hell out of Congress.
I think most of the country was probably in shock, and it took a long time for the shock to wear down. And once it did, they had in Baltimore, Maryland, in the procurement office, which is downtown, where you would go when you were, like I went there when I was 14 and have to get my workman's permit. It was an exciting day. I'll never forget it. I could work and I got a piece, a card in my pocketbook. And illegal, like it made me legal. And they had a 9/11 find them and fry them sting up on the internet already set up before 9/11.
Whoa!
Just to nab anybody that got on. I'll never forget finding that out. And Verizon, I know AT&T was involved. Verizon had a division called Encore, and that was the NSA. Going after people, and I would know because they went out of their way to let me know it was them, and they had DARPA with them, and I mean they went out of their way. It was unreal.
Well, they took over the country. The Patriot Act ushered us into, I mean, they did take over the country. I mean, it was like a coup, but it wasn't. It was, it wasn't a military coup.
Have you ever heard of Thomas Drake? Do you remember him? He's NSA, CIA, high level up here in Maryland. And if you go over to his timeline on Twitter, he is raving. He's coming back punching, boy. He's mad. They targeted him, and he's angry.
Well, good.
He was high level.
Frank,
he was another high level.
Yeah. Somebody wants to say something?
Yeah, hi, this is James Lico. Is Frank there?
Hi, Jim. Yep.
Yeah, hi. You mind if I say something?
Not at all. You're
always welcome. How's your eye doing, Frank?
Pretty sore.
So you have a patch over it?
It's not that kind of sore. It's vision. It's like the middle of it is dark or not. I'm trying to think of the color. Sort of like a yellowish color in the middle. And then I have all these floaters as big as ships going by. So my day's coming up here shortly.
Yeah.
Can you see those from the outside? Or is it very?
I had one doctor look at it, and he just backed away from it.
Wow.
Yeah, and he didn't even put the scope on my eye. You know how they numb your eye, and they.
Yeah.
All he did was use his glass in his hand.
Oh my.
That's you got to be kidding me. He says,
Yeah,
"Oh, would you like to come back and get some glasses?" I said, "No, thank you."
Jesus. He didn't worry about your retina or anything, like looking in.
Oh no, he's one of these simpleton doctors that's just there for eyeglasses. No, but he didn't seem to know anything. He didn't want to. He didn't put. Aren't they supposed to put that machine on your eye?
Yeah.
It actually touches the surface of your eye. He didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, and he's supposed to first put drops in there. I know they don't always do that anymore, but for that kind of an injury, they really need to put drops in there so that it opens your pupil and they can look in. He did?
Yeah, but he used a scope. I mean, an eyepiece to look in there.
Jesus. Well, great.
With a flashlight, So he was kind of like, the machine was right in front of me. He could have used it.
Wow.
And it was not like I walked in off the street. I was referred for my PCP rather.
Oh, So what do you do now, Frank?
Oh, I've got an appointment in Boston, Mass Ionia.
Okay.
And it's leading to a bunch of trips, and it's leading to an operation. So I'm the perps I'm going to hang by the neck until dead, I think. And I swear, if I know one of them. If I see them, I'll run them over. That's the way I feel.
I don't blame you. When it
I'm
comes
not-
to
Did you notice any weapon that they had done that with?
No, but I was looking up at the western sky. I know that. Just for a split second, because I just got into the car, and I just leaned forward for a second, and bang, there were like hundreds of little small white dots, but they looked three-dimensional, and they were round, and they were probably about as big as bigger than a cigarette filter, but
oh jeez.
Yeah.
Did they look like floaters?
Oh no, these were on the outside. They look like, but they were actually on the inside. And I got home and there were two left.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have as of tomorrow, I will have been moved out of Massachusetts for a while until I get everything squared away, and then I will come back again. But for now, I am out of state.
Oh wow.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah, well, try a new spot and stay there for a while, and it's sort of like what? Oh God, I can't even think anymore. Midge did. She went out to Massachusetts to stay with Kate. Well, I just want to,
Yeah. Well,
you need a safe haven right now, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for telling us about that, Frank.
Oh, no problem. You're the family, so you got to know.
Yeah, we do have to know. And I wanted to kind of make an announcement and maybe a request, because I don't know if you all remember, I was prosecuted for yelling at my neighbors based on
Oh, I saw that post. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So based on the targeted individual stuff, and now one of the stipulations of my plea agreement, where I had to plead guilty to one charge of what was it? Disorder. It wasn't disorderly conduct. It was something like that. It was making yelling at my neighbors, really, is what it was. And really, it was asking them to stop hurting me. And so, so what happened was I'm still pretty active on Twitter and my website, and I removed all the things. You know, it's not hard to not mention your neighbors. I mean, they told me what their names are, and it's not hard to not mention them. So I wasn't mentioning them. And now they called me in there. I was going to pay my fee. I have to pay a $40 a month fee so they could monitor me, which seems excessive to me. And that's another story. But they told me that I shouldn't pay it right now because they have discovered that I was in violation because I mentioned my neighbors, and I asked her what it was, and she said that there was files on there that, well, she said that there was mentions of my neighbor, but she didn't tell me that she didn't know. All the files that were on my website before the trial were on my website after she told me. She told me she turned me into the district attorney. Now the district attorney doesn't want to, I guess, no, what she said was that he hasn't decided whether he wants to prosecute me yet. So that I shouldn't pay the maintenance fee because I may be going to trial and probably jail. So I am an expert in computers, so I noticed that the files were at a date prior to the trial, which is impossible because I edited those files after the trial to remove instances where I mentioned my neighbor. There was about 10 or 12 files, and it took me a long time to do that. And so that date says that these files were not edited. So I don't know where these would have came from, but he the DA probably would have downloaded those files because he was doing an investigation on me for 6 months. It was a secret investigation, and they probably would have been evidence. And I can't say that is. They would have to be examined. But I didn't have files like that, and that's so. What's going on now is that I'm under investigation for possibly violating my probation, and it's just a ongoing, perpetual investigation, and they can do a lot of damage with that. And it's like having the difference between having a police and a SWAT team. I think. I mean, it's just a offhand. I don't. It's just an ongoing, perpetual investigation. And they told me not to pay my maintenance fee. To keep monitoring me. And another thing I noticed that they're doing, they must
Did
have.
you get
What? They must have a.
Did you get that request to not pay the maintenance fee in writing?
No, they just told me not to pay it.
Yeah, you said
I'm worried about all of this.
You got to document it. You got to ask them, can you put that in writing?
I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because you
Good
can't.
point. Now they have.
Can't substantiate. He said. She said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They can come back
I'll
and
go
say
there.
you just didn't pay. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I'll go there Monday and do that. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, they should give me the whole thing in writing.
Mm-hmm.
What they found, what they're asking me to do, because you see, I believe this is a setup.
You want to ask for discovery.
Yeah, so I have to get another lawyer, don't I?
You can ask for it yourself.
If you want to, but when you hire a lawyer, that basically puts you in a position of a ward of the state, and a ward is either an infant or a person of unsound mind. See, they try to leverage us into the position of hiring a lawyer because you're incompetent. You don't know the law. So you need to have somebody speak for you. But in essence, what they want to do is, see, they're actually charging what's called the straw man or the corporate legal fiction that has no mouth and that cannot speak for itself. And they cannot prosecute a flesh and blood living man. Okay, that's why they insist on you getting a lawyer. And I went to 4 hearings, and they kept telling me I had to get a lawyer. And I said, no, I'm here to take care of this matter today. I'm a flesh and blood man. I got a mouth. I can speak for myself. And this public pretender would pop up and say, I'm here to represent. And I'd say, I do not consent to that. And the thing would go sit back down. So, you know,
if you put it in writing, if you put it in writing, you are protected. If you put it in writing, you are representing yourself, and you are protected. Yes, you are.
No, you're not representing. You're
civil
present.
court.
You're present. You're present. You're present. What is represent?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know, because you don't understand our words.
I think that's a nonsense.
Yes.
No, I'm serious.
We are entitled to represent ourselves always.
Oh, I think it would be a good idea to put it in writing. What would I recommend if
exactly.
to do that?
Please do.
The term is called acting in propria persona, in one's own right.
And we have that right. We can operate in propria persona. We can do that. We can represent in both civil courts and criminal courts. We can do that. They can't say you're not a person when you're standing there talking. I don't know
what should I ask?
I would ask them. I'd ask them what kind of information they're operating from, and I would make sure if they downloaded this before you showed up, then they got the information from before. You made an effort to get it off. You did.
Somebody has brought a claim against him, and he needs to claim it.
No, you know, I know about all this. Somebody buys a claim and they're going to make money off of it. No,
honey.
Yourself.
Listen.
Oh, don't call her honey, please.
No. All I know is we get to protect ourselves. We are human beings. We can operate appropriate persona.
Actually, under the Patriot Act, you have no right to protect yourself, right?
Jose.
Not in every single aspect. No, you can court. You don't have a right to protect yourself in your home.
I've been researching this whole legal aspect, and it's quite a wicked web they've weaved.
Well, let's think that maybe we can go to court like people, because we are people, and instead of all this mumbo jumbo about somebody has a claim against you and we're all corporate entities and we're all
your court.
We are people. We to represent ourselves. But is this the Admiralty Court versus some other court? I don't know what it's all about. I know that we have civil court in this country. We have criminal courts in this country. We have federal. We have federal.
Linda, I dropped a link. I dropped a link in there into the chat.
I saw that. I went to read that. Yeah, that forever thing. Yeah.
Please.
I started to read it. She's making it's entirely too legal is not that complicated if you just stick to the facts. You just stick to the fact that you can represent yourself. You do that by getting the information as much as you can. And believe me, courts are more careful with this when we represent ourselves because they don't want to make a mistake when we represent ourselves. And I've had judges say that to me. I got to be more careful here because you are in propria persona. I've had success in court with this. I don't know quite what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know all this stuff. I don't understand.
I don't know who that woman is that wrote all that many pages of whatever that is. But the land courts versus the soil courts versus the water. I don't know about all that, and it matters. What matters is the law. That's what matters. Civil law, criminal law. It's right out there. You can research law on the computer. Absolutely. You can go find West codes on the computer and look up the codes that apply to your lawsuit. We can do this. I don't know what all that other stuff is about.
Okay. I've been there, done that. I got
Have you?
the T-shirt.
So have I.
Yeah, I've been involved in the de jure republics. Do you know what that was or is?
No.
Okay, so you don't know the difference between de jure and de facto, right?
Oh, Jesus. No, okay. I just know about civil and criminal, and when you get too tied up into all of that, sorry, it doesn't apply, in my opinion.
Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to ask for help with this, and it's really not that hard.
It's not.
If people can call in to the sheriff's office and maybe the district, who's talking?
No, nobody. No, I'm sorry, I went in the other room with this.
So I did a video and basically explained it all. It should be not as long, but it's 25 minutes, and probably it explains it in the first 15 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the video is entitled Targeted Individual, let's see, Setup James Lico. And if you type in those words, then you'll probably find it.
What do you want us to do, James?
Well, I wish you would all listen to the video. And in the first part, I didn't have the phone numbers when I was making the video, so they're not in the video. But they're the phone numbers for the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office. There's also a fax machine for the district attorney's office in the notes below the video. And if I could ask some people to call in, the more that do it, the better. Just so if people could call in and say that ask why I am let me think of this. I don't know. What do you think should be said? It seems like maybe asking why I'm set up, and that's not very good. I don't know. What do you think should be said? I haven't really thought about this.
James, I think people should say it in their own words. But what is your website again, so I can view the video?
Okay, it's jameslico.com, and I'm going to put the video. I haven't put it there yet, but I'm going to put it on the first page on the top. So if you look at it right this second, you won't see it, but it will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Also, James, we could write letters too. People have written letters to law enforcement for Millicent Black. Thousands of letters, I think, have been sent out for her on her behalf. So would it be possible you could post the address too? Sometimes the letter goes a little further.
Okay, yeah, that's what everybody says. I will edit that and put the address in there.
Good. Are you putting this online so we can find it?
Yeah, it's on my website, jameslico.com. Okay. It will be there. It's not there this instant.
Okay.
Well, James, this is good.
And James Lico is the YouTube channel.
JamesLico.com.
I will be happy to do this for you, James. You are a very good guy, and what has been done to you is disgusting and vile, and it's a scam. And it would be my pleasure. I will write up something. I will send you what I write up to your email so you could review it first.
Okay. Does everybody know my email address? JAF as in Frank, ELCO @gmail.com. That's jfelco @gmail.com. I'll
All
spell it
one,
one more
all
time.
letters.
Yeah, J
Oh, one. Mm-hmm.
J F as in Frank, ELCO @gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay, thank you.
Say it again, please.
Okay, sure. It's JAF as in Frank, ELCO @gmail. That's jfelco @gmail.com.
Got it.
I'll put it in my in the video notes too.
Yeah, the more people that would help out James, it's very meaningful for us to gather together and get behind each other if it's in your heart to do so, because that has helped people that get sent to the funny farm also. So the more that we do that, the better off it is for the person that has been violated. And he certainly has been. I'm glad you are asking this, James. It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought of it that very night. It's meant to throw you off. It's meant to cause psychological harm.
Absolutely.
Because they're not telling anything. They're leaving everything up to your just wondering if you're going to be sent to jail. You don't know, and that's what violation of probation is. It's actually prosecuting you for to put you in jail.
But you didn't do it, so the prosecution is under false pretenses.
Well, I had to plead guilty because there were 17 charges. I had to plead guilty to one of them.
What I'm saying, yeah, but you didn't publish your neighbors' names after the fact, right?
Right. Somebody published those files. Somebody put them on my website as though they were just there, and I did it. But they were edited before the probation officer, Vicki Scott, knows that I edited those files because she knows that they had stuff in them. And I don't think they're keeping that close a track, but there was about 10 or 12 files, and they, and then now the information is back in its original form, and it's not making sense the way they did it. It looks like it's a setup. It looks like, that somebody knew my password and uploaded those files.
Well, that's you can go to Twitter, and you can get the IP addresses of anyone who uploaded files to your site. It's like a bloody trail all the way back to them. Anybody who does that always leaves a fingerprint, or a footprint in this case, behind.
And why Twitter?
Well, I thought that's where it was posted.
Oh, no, on my website, jameslico.com.
That's even easier. Just call up your provider, whoever it is. And who is it, by the way?
It's Web Hosting Hub.
Okay. Call them up and say somebody has broken into and violated your site, and you need the IPs because of a court case. It doesn't involve Web Hub. It involves something else.
Yeah, good idea, Frank.
You'll have the IP addresses and you'll be able to find out just what's going on.
Well, anyway, they're not expecting anybody to call. I think they're thinking they're just going to run over me with, throw me under the bus. So that would be really good if people could actually either call or write. I think writing is better, but either way, it's, there's the police, the sheriff's office is one of the entities in this. They were the ones that kept coming out to my house when this was happening, and they, instead of writing down what happened, they would write crazy people or I don't know, something like that, instead of writing down the details. But for my other neighbor who was actually doing this to me, because they're involved in this, they were writing down what they, what they said, that I was doing. So it's only one-sided. And they treat it like they are the victims and that I am the aggressor, when it's just the opposite way around. And they didn't take any pictures of the signs on their fence. That's, the FU signs and just,
it's horrible.
Bad signs. And they're just, it was just all one-sided.
I think Frank has a great idea. Get the IP numbers, if you can, of the people that were in your. I'm not sure how you do that. I'm not a computer expert, but I'm sure there's information out there you can get your hands on, I would think. Yeah.
There may even. Oh well, you're a computer expert, so there may be fingerprints that you can see yourself if you examine the HTML.
Right. I may have, because I have a service that it's just something I installed a while ago, and it actually keeps track of certain things like IP addresses of people who have accessed the website. It actually does that for me.
Oh, okay, great. You're all set.
I don't know. I'll find out. They have so for the CIA or whoever is doing this, they have like all the power of the CIA, the CIA's computer experts. They have actually many experts that can be called, and for these useful idiots who don't know anything, and they can. I believe, and I'm pretty sure this is true, that everybody who is a targeted individual has a national security tap on their telephone and internet line. That's just my opinion, but I believe it's true because they certainly do in my case. They always in my computer.
Yeah, that's unreal. That whole thing with you in that case is unreal. I think
it is.
I'm not going to, backpedal or anything on it with you, but your lawyer was a total drag. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, he's out of it now because he said he was going to retire in.
I'm sorry, James. But can y'all tell me, why do they like putting you to sleep? I'm sitting here trying to listen to y'all, and they keep sending this frequency. Why do they like putting you to sleep? So they can work on your brain?
I imagine it's experimentation. Yeah, they're and they're torturing us too.
They hitting the walls with that weapon, that through the wall radar. I can hear it on both sides of my bedroom walls. They keep going back and forth, and because I got the light shining on them, so they get out the light and they keep banging at different spots. But they still trying to put me to sleep.
Yeah,
they drugged me. Wait a minute, James. I meant to tell. I went to a presentation where Robert Duncan was on the screen live doing a Q&A of Alice in Ireland here in Massachusetts at the MIT with the MIT professors and all of them she invited. But they drugged me in there. As soon as I got there, I was in there about 10 minutes, and they drugged me so I wouldn't see the presentation. And they woke me up at the end.
That's terrible. Yeah, they can do that.
And
make you very.
Yeah, I was incoherent when I woke up, and I felt like I'm coming off of anesthesia. You know how when you go surgery, you have anesthesia. That's how I felt.
Yep. I don't know how they do that, but it's done all the time to lots of people. A lot of times it's just them playing around like you're a video game. But
Exactly, yeah. I think they get it messed up. These little low levels here that watch you overnight through these walls right here at the upstairs at apartment 101. Yeah, I think they get it mixed up because they try to take your life for a game. I can hear them boom, boom, boom every time I move. If I move a certain direction, they move a certain direction.
Yeah, they're doing experiments. They're testing your response sometimes, and I think they work with the fusion centers because the fusion centers, because we are a threat to national security. Not really, but it's just the way they say it. So the fusion centers can track us, and these contractors can do experimentation, and they get money for that.
Right, exactly. But these are the little low levels here. That's doing it. These little they low levels too out in the street following me. Them little punk low levels follow me. But these are some little monsters here. They just keep banging and banging and banging with that through the wall radar and infrared. They're using that infrared. They follow me. If I go to the bathroom, they go in there. I go in the kitchen, they go in there. I go in the living room, they go in there. So they're using that. They're using that through the wall infrared. That through the wall radar and infrared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear it.
That's why we need to get the Patriot Act down, so they can't do that anymore. They won't have
I know, Linda. You said you're gonna send me the stuff. When do I have to do it? I'll do it now.
No, I'm gonna put it on Frank's show on Monday night. I put the connection there. Okay.
Oh well, you know I don't have no chat. I don't do chat. I got a phone. I don't have a computer.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, well I'll send it to you on. I don't know when I'll send it. I got to get it all arranged. I got to work on it this weekend. I want to make sure I sound intelligent. Frank, will you have some questions for me? And can we talk beforehand just so I have a little prep time? Okay, good. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I want to know what questions you'll ask and all that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask like when was what day or when was it initiated, and why do you think it was initiated, things like that, and then we'll get into it a little bit, like the effect on the people, how many, like your rights that were taken away, and possibly how it was changed. What do they call it now? The Liberty Act or something like that?
Oh, Freedom Act.
Freedom Act.
They just included a lot of the Patriot Act with the Freedom Act, and then sort of as a way to say, see, we're changing it. We're getting rid of the Patriot Act. They didn't.
Yeah.
They combined it with the Freedom Act. Yeah. Yeah. And why? Thank you. Okay.
How much of that was okay? How much of the Patriot Act was actually redacted?
Oh, I don't think it was.
No.
You mean? It's totally published. It's totally published. The we can all get our hands on those many pages through the ACLU. I'm quite sure. And I'll run some stuff down if I can get a hold of somebody over there too. But I'm sure that, Patriot Act wasn't redacted. We get to know everything. We get to know the whole thing.
Okay. Okay. How much of the Patriot Act was removed or altered? I mean, line by line.
That I don't know.
Okay.
That I don't know.
All right.
That's going to take some very serious reading, and that I don't know exactly. And I'm not sure I'm more concerned about the fact that in general what it does, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm kind of
exactly.
coming from where the ACLU, and I'm not, you know, I'm not sure how much it was. All I know is the bad parts are still in effect. Section 215, Section 217, they're still in effect and they're still being used, even though they said they would be deleted. They weren't, and they're still being used. You know, that I will.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it'll be simulcast to here,
Okay.
and then we'll have our listeners.
Ask questions.
That's the beauty of it. We get thousands of listeners.
Great. Great.
Linda, you'll do a really good job.
Oh,
Just
she will.
answering the
She's always good.
Thank you. Well, I get
Yeah,
a little
just-
nervous. Well, there's
yeah,
some
I
specific.
know, but just answering the questions just now, you sounded
Yeah.
so professional and
Oh, thank you.
knowledgeable. And
Thank
and even if you say you don't know, you even came across really good that way. You're going to do a fabulous job. I just know it.
Thank you, hon. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes me a little nervous. I get a little scared. I don't, you know, and I will say, you know, I don't know, but I do know the general, you know, issue is that they are invading our rights every which way possible.
I'll send you a
Yes.
copy of the timesheet.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Yeah.
The timesheet will tell you when the commercials are coming in, and
Okay.
I'll lead
Yes.
in, and then I'll reintroduce you.
Yeah. Good. Okay, and I'll watch the time, but also
be
you let
like-
me know. You know.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be like sitting at the kitchen table having a talk.
Yeah, I usually when it's commercial time, I say, "Well, it's time to pay some bills."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm good at I'm good at saying, oh well. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're fine.
Who's calling? What's?
That's SM Sovereign Man. I thought. No, might have
I
been.
thought so too at first. I don't know. Somebody.
No,
somebody.
I said it'll be like sitting at the kitchen table having a talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That's
talking
fun.
about background.
Well, but thank you for asking me those specifics, because in fact I would like to talk to you a little bit more. I'll maybe I can talk to you Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning. We can get a few specifics, and I
Sure.
would like to know, because I would like to look some of that up before, because I think that's good information.
Yeah, you'd have to make it Sunday.
Okay. I need your number.
Sure. 508.
Oh, just a minute. Get this. If you'll let me have it. Okay. Okay. 508.
857.
857.
8334.
8334. Okay. 508-857-8334. Frank. Yeah?
Yep. I just cleaned out the mailbox, so in case I am not right on the phone, I'll get right back to you.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, I just want to know what you're going to want to know, just so I have the answers. I mean, you know.
I'll try and put together a little outline.
That would be good.
And I'll shoot you the outline too of the things that
Great.
I'm going to ask you, and so that I don't want to ask you something that we both don't know anything about, you know, like what color was the pen that the guy used to write it, you know. I won't ask you. I won't ask you anything you don't
Yeah,
know.
right. This is good. And I'll get the exact date it was written and when it was passed. It was passed in 2002, but
And who-
written before.
Was it passed by
Congress?
Yeah, but what kind of, was it a sleazy law, or did they have a really solid majority?
You mean, they had a solid majority that voted
Okay.
for it because they were threatened.
All right. Okay.
They told them, if you don't stand for it, the next hit is on you. And of course, we
Something-
were hit again. You know, yeah.
Something you might want to add to your discussion is the fact that in Nazi Germany, Hitler destroyed his own chancellery.
You're right.
And he called it terrorism.
Yes,
And he
he did.
developed a group of people called Homeland Security.
Oh, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Exactly.
Okay, Nazi Germany hit.
Frank,
What do you?
could you give me that number again for your phone?
Sure. 508
Yeah.
857
Uh-huh.
8334.
Okay, good.
You're in the
You say-
phone logs, so you'll just come up as James Lico.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did
All right, Linda.
let me just say one more thing. Hitler destroyed his own chancellery. Did you say?
Yes, and
Didn't they arrest a guy for it?
I'm not
That
sure.
supposedly burned it down. Okay.
Yeah, well, what they did was they claimed it was terrorism, but he
Right.
actually did it. It was sort of like a Jack Ruby
Right.
type deal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he
We did
called
it
it
for the
Homeland
impact.
Security.
Yeah, and he developed a group
Wow.
called Homeland Security.
My
Oh my
God.
God.
You know.
In Russia, they had the motherland. In Germany, they had the fatherland.
Yeah, so
And now in
exactly.
America, we have the homeland.
Well, they had the Homeland over there, Homeland Security. But I know
That's
what you mean, though.
amazing.
It says for the fatherland, like on all of their blades for war.
Yeah.
West für Deutschland. It says that's for the fatherland. West für Deutschland. And no, I'm not German.
I am.
I think you can tell by the way I talk with the accent.
Well, I'm French, Scotch, Irish,
Be
and
careful, my
German,
lives of my insurance, so
and a little Indian.
it ain't apply to me. It'll
Who's
do
talking?
everything. It's my
Hey,
damn-
Paula, you're open down there. I don't
Paula,
think
we can hear you.
I got her. She knows it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some hotter coffee. It's been a very
how
interesting
you can
conversation. I want
I
to
don't know.
learn more about the Patriot Act too, because that's coming up, and it's something that's going to be used against us. I'm sure already
Yes,
has
it always
been,
is. Yes.
and I'm sure there are aspects that will be used again. And when I come back, I'd like to talk about William Binney and Kirk Wiebe and why they're not working with our people in Massachusetts to get that survey out. And then secondly, he is supposed to be or was in contact with the president. Why is he not
Yes.
presenting our case?
If he was close enough to discuss, yeah, he
should
discussed.
have.
What did he discuss with
He's
the
just,
president?
I don't believe he's doing that.
Yeah, the survey got dropped, and I'm just wondering, what he's doing.
Uncomfortable too. Me too.
Well, that was all on the computer, so I wonder if they confiscated that, or where is that data now? Because I filled that out.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even think about that.
In detail. And I want to know, I know the NSA has all of our data and everything on everybody, but what happened to that data? And
I wouldn't worry about that because that happened. The survey was long after they had their FBI occurrence.
yeah, well, mine was pretty detailed, and it was, I went ahead and did it because, but it was very private. And as I'm sure many people that filled it out, I did it because it has to be done. There just cannot be any more secrets anymore, unfortunately.
Well, the problem is people keep doing surveys. They keep asking us to fill out information. And finally, I just said, no, I'm not just going to hand out all my information over and over and over. Haven't we had quite a few people take surveys? I don't know about you, but I can't do it anymore. Yeah.
The one that probably the best survey that I have ever seen done, I participated in it, and that's Max Williams. He did a survey on V2K, and I have the entire survey, and he said that I could present it, but he's become a little distant as of late.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I could see why. He's getting pretty old now.
Yeah, didn't when FFCHS folded, didn't he kind of get? It was not. I don't think it was. He was pretty involved. His little heart was in there, you know.
Yeah.
I think.
Well. Yeah. Well. That's too
Yeah.
bad too.
Yeah, it is. Well, the whole thing. We just need to get something going straight and keep on going. You know, I think.
Yeah. Keep on trucking.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back, and like we can go over those points.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask James Lico something?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, hi James. Goodness 8 here. I just wanted to know, do you think you'll get that video on the top of the page sometime tomorrow or Sunday?
Okay, I put it there. You should see it now if you go to jameslico.com. But I haven't put the address, and I'm looking for the address right now. And it's the sheriff of Curry County and the district attorney of Curry County. It's not a big deal for me to get it off their website, and all I have to do is just paste it in there. So it won't take me more than probably 15, 20 minutes to do that.
No problem, because I won't start on it until tomorrow. And what I will do is, like I said, I will write something up and run it by you, and you know, perhaps you'll want to make changes or not make changes or whatever. And my request for everybody that listens to James, who's a really good guy, is to, you know, help him out and write a letter or call on his behalf, because I think we're coming to a point where we need to really help each other out. Like Linda wants us to, you know, talk to our Congress people about the Patriot Act. And so when one of us requests something, of course, we don't have to follow through on it, but when we help each other, we're helping ourselves.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you. I just want to say that it's the people who have the loud voices, the ones who are doing the activism, that you have to help out, because otherwise they'll be squashed. They'll just be under the bus and run over, and they won't be around, and those loud voices will go away, and then you'll have to, you know, deal with it yourself. So right now, I'm one of the loud voices, and also you can check out Michael Barton. He's also having problems.
I just love him. I'll check out. I haven't listened to him for a while. He's a really good guy too. Almost every real TI is a really good person, and you know, like I said, it's so important that we help one another, because no telling when we're going to need to reach out and say, "Hey, will you help me?" You know.
Yeah.
And
I'm in jail, or I'm in. Yes, we're going to need help. I agree with you. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, the reason why I filled out that one survey for Benny and Weeby, because I adore Bill Benny. I think he's a very brave guy. I don't know Kirk Weeby that much, but he seems like a good fella. So I really thought that they would get this stuff together. And Kate, who was very much involved in it, she's wonderful. So I don't know what happened, if they put the hammer down and said, you're not going to do this, or if they're still, you know, calculating the data and the symptoms from the data. I don't really know what happened.
I don't know.
It was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah,
I
know.
You know,
time is weird. Time is really weird anymore.
It sure is. It passes before your very eyes. Go ahead.
It seems like I'm tuning into Neil's Sunday night show, and I just did it like the day before. It's the strangest thing to me.
Yeah. It does fly when you're having a good time, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Best
Yeah.
time of my life. What about
Yeah,
you?
me too. Me too. Just love it.
Well, he talked to the president, so why didn't he say anything?
Well, he might have. We don't know exactly,
Yeah.
everything that was said. He might have, and he may not have. But there, if he had to keep that quiet, he would have kept it quiet. So it's hard to tell if he talked to him.
Yeah, but
then the president.
it's a secret, and it's not supposed to be a secret.
Yeah, true. Yeah, good point. But the president has changed on a lot of things. I don't know if he's getting threatened or if he's just taking care of him like he usually does. That's my opinion. That's just my
He's an
opinion.
acting
I agree.
like Reagan.
Right with you.
So I figured you'd be with me, Lynn.
Oh, you got it.
And
Well,
I know you're not his best friend.
no, I'm not a fan. No.
But the thing is, he was against vaccinations, and then the other day he's saying just get vaccinated, and then he was against 5G, and the other day he said 6G now that we must.
I know the more the better. When he wants to go into 7G and 8. I mean, just like
who
really
knows? 52G, who knows what
Who
knows? And
Yeah.
I wonder if he's compromised. He doesn't seem. I mean, he seems like himself in his usual narcissism. My opinion again for all the agents that listen in, and I'm allowed my opinion.
I just want to say that he stopped the installation of 5G for Mar-a-Lago, which is his house, his home.
Yeah.
He lives in that area, and he stopped 5G for that.
Well,
that's
there
interesting.
you go. Now,
But that's in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's his little golf
today I
club.
read about where Cohen's going to prison.
Yeah.
They have tennis courts.
Oh,
and yeah, no kidding. They have bunk beds. They're not cells. They don't have cells. They have, rooms, big rooms with all bunk beds. And they get kosher food if they want the kosher food. And they can play. The grounds are pretty beautiful there. I read this whole article. Now, it's still a prison.
Well, he can't leave. Gosh.
I just
Sounds
like
good.
to know, white collar crime can ruin people's lives. Look at the Bernie Madoff story. Now, he wanted to go to this same prison that Cohen's going to be put into, but they didn't allow Bernie to go to this fancy prison. But a lot of these people, like the football players and some of the movie stars, they named a bunch of names that are in this prison. It was quite an article about the prison itself, and they call it Club Med. And I just think, wow, a lot of people that do white collar crime have ruined people's lives. And, like the Weinstein story, he hired Black Cube to do some of the same thing, that security company, to the women that are being done to us. And in different areas, some with due, some without due, all of them gang stalked. And so, is Weinstein going to go to the elite prison? I'm telling you, I'm really tired of white collar crime being like, that's okay. Here, you can go, you're going to be locked up and you can only play tennis, now. And you know what I'm saying? It's wrong. And people are tired of this. Like, they get by with these crimes that have ruined people's lives, and it's like a slow murder. Like the women that were involved with Weinstein and the Black Cube company, they're under the slow kill thing themselves. And so, it's sad that we don't hear more of that from them, because that would really help our cause. But Black Cube is, Mossad is or they hire Mossad agents, and they do the same thing as SIS, INC, and many of the other private security companies. Not all private security companies are like that, but a lot of them are. Eric Prince's private security company.
If you call it that.
Eric
Prince has mercenaries. He owns. It's a group of mercenaries. They were in Iraq. They were using Iraqis for target practice, and we wonder why they hate us. Jeez.
Well, he killed all those people, and his mercenaries killed all those people in Iraq. It was a big shootout. I mean, it was cold-blooded murder to children and women, and they were civilians. And he made a deal with the government that if he went over there, his security company, that he couldn't be charged with murder if that came about. And but then Leon Panetta from the CIA went after him when Panetta was the director of the CIA, and went after Eric Prince. And Eric Prince, he hates Leon Panetta because he's targeted now. Eric Prince is, and he is, of course, the brother of Betsy DeVos, the educator that Trump hired. So, and Eric
use
Prince,
the term loosely. Yeah.
What was that?
Sorry. Go ahead. I said you said she was the educator, and I just said, well, you can use the term loosely. I'm just
yes. She never thought.
Did you know that 22% of Iraq was under mind control?
I didn't know.
Yeah. 22%.
That's how they got them to stop. Oh, it's that voice to skull.
I'm talking about in the cities.
It was a test ground. It was a test ground. They go over there and tested the weapons, and then they came back here.
And we
Can I say something here?
Sure, go right ahead.
To the lady that was just talking about Eric Prince, and he's targeted now. He deserves it. He deserves it. And that I'm from Holland, Michigan, so I know the Princes, and I am targeted because of those people.
Oh wow!
Because of
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I am targeted because almost 20 years ago, in 1997,
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Lost her.
Hello?
She's still there.
Are you there?
Call her
Yeah, we're here.
All right, go ahead.
That was weird. I don't know what happened there. So anyways, almost 20 years ago in 1997, I built a home through one of their foundations that they have. Through, I believe it's registered to DeVos. And within that foundation, they did a lot of crooked stuff. And I ended up filing a lawsuit against them. And ever since then, I mean, I won the lawsuit, but I didn't really win. You know what I mean? Because they didn't do justice to what I've lost, and what they do is they continue to this day. I mean, I can't get a job anywhere. They run me out of Holland, and everywhere I go, they run me out. So they're the ones that put me in this little nefarious program, and all because they have the money to do so. And so if he's targeted now, he deserves it. I mean, I don't like to say I don't like to say that because I'm not that kind of person, but
if he gets a taste of what he's done to other people, so be it. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, they've went after my children, you know, just everywhere we have lived. My son, my daughter, my grandson, his dad, the whole 9 yards. And they think that they're going to get away with this stuff. And, you know, and a lot they do get away with because, you know, they've got the
Excuse me.
they have the capital to get away with it. That's the only reason they get away with the shit that they get away with, is because
But
they got the money to get away with it.
Take solace, ma'am, in knowing that Eric Prince cries out constantly, well, almost constantly, about Leon Panetta hurting him. That they're part of the CIA that went after Eric Prince because Eric Prince thinks he can do any damn thing he wants to do. That whole family is satanic. They're horrible, horrible people. And
you know what? I truly believe that. I truly believe that. They like to stand behind, they claim God. They like to stand behind
Yes.
God. And
Yes.
and it's like, I have to question, which God are you talking about? Because from your fruit, you know, it's not the God of heaven. And that, you know, yeah, they can give money here, they give money there, they do this, they do that. The only reason I feel like they really do that is because tax write-offs.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. That is the only reason. Everything's about them and their money, and they were both, Betsy and him were born with a silver spoon in their pathetic mouths. And and I am so sorry that happened to you, but I'm not the least bit surprised. And they go ahead and show their power with this evilness that they do. And he keeps changing the name of his security company. He thinks that people will forget. First he was Blackwater, then he was XI something, and now it's
XE Academy. Yep. You know what? That's notorious for these people, because the house program that I went through in Holland, it was called Heritage Homes, and you know, they ended up stopping the program there after I ended up suing the company. They stopped the program there, and then they moved it to Grand Rapids, about 20 minutes to the east, to the northeast of Holland. And so they have all kinds of programs around here in Grand Rapids now. And I'm just like, you know, I hope and pray that you people don't do to these other families what you did to my family. And that, because, I mean, I was a single mom, and I was fighting hard and working hard toward a better life. And it's like, these people ruined my life, literally. So I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever, because those who have the capital, they don't get punished. You know, I mean, that's just the way our society is. And their deep pockets, it affects, you know, the judges around here, the city officials. It's like they have everybody in their back pockets, like they have everybody so mesmerized. And it's like, you know, if I had an hour to sit down and tell what them doing with my home, what they did to my home, and how they went about things, you know, it would curl your toes in the opposite direction. It really would. And that, but
them won that lawsuit with, because they own Michigan. I mean, I'm shocked they even won.
Well, I had a jury trial. And that, I had a jury trial, and that, but you know, it just is sad that you know, the domino effect it's had on my family. I mean, it sent my kids to the streets. You know,
Yeah.
my daughter ended up pregnant. They lost their college.
Aw.
You know, so neither one of my kids ever got to go to college to better themselves. And it's like, you know, I just, you know, I hang on to a promise that God gave me that this ain't over with yet. Because to this day, they've got people doing what they're doing, you know, the perks that they send, you know, it's like they've got these people and they may not realize it yet, but they are so caught. They're so caught. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I can't even
Well,
begin
I
to
believe
tell you.
half the CIA despise Eric Prince. So that's good news to me because I also despise him and his family, and in my opinion, they are total Satanists. And their God, you speak of their God is Lucifer. That's their God.
Well, they buy everybody off. I don't think those people have any true friends that they can truly say that are their friends, because, you know, I mean, when people truly see, you know, what they do to people, the little people, you know, I mean, yeah, they put their money out there for different programs and stuff, but again, it's all about that tax write-off. I mean, I don't know, that's just my opinion, and maybe, you know, if I'm wrong, I wish that they would approach me and say, look, you know, what was
Well,
this
they
all a
haven't
business?
approached you because they're not wrong. That's the thing. Listen, I'm so
Well,
glad you're on the call and you told about this. I haven't heard you before. What name do you go by?
Nancy.
You don't have to tell your real name.
Her name.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Bless
I'm
your
not.
heart.
I'm not a person. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna hide. It's like, you know, if you got something to say to me, bring it. You know, let's go face to face. You know, I'm not about violence, although the perps are, and that. But you know, I'm not gonna run from these people. I'm not gonna be afraid of them.
Good for you.
You know, my attorney said something to me one time, and you know, he said, you know, if you're waiting for an apology, you're never going to get an apology from these people ever. He said, and in a court of law, you either negotiate what you get. Let me think how he said that. You either fight for it or you negotiate. You know, because they're not going to do the right thing on their own. And so, with that being said, you know, I guess I have another fight on my hands, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that. It's like, I'll do things legally, I'll do things the right way, and that, because I'm not about being mean and vindictive, and that, and I believe God will honor that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just, you know, but it'd be nice if they did the right thing. It'd be nice if they did the right thing. You know, they have, you know, let me tell you something. Just this past year, matter of fact, back November, December, I was at one of the hospitals that they fund. And I was coming off the elevator, and I didn't know it then, or I didn't know it 20 years ago when we were sitting in the courtroom, but it was the defense. And, you know, of course, I was the plaintiff with my children. And there was two teenagers that sat back behind my family. And there was nobody else in the courtroom other than the judge. You know, like where people sit, there was nobody else there except this boy and this girl. And so I was coming off the elevator at the hospital, and there's a great big picture of these people, of the kids, the grandkids, with the grandmother. And I stopped and I looked at that. And like I said, 20 years ago, I didn't know that that's who it was. But I looked at that picture and I'm like, something clicked. And I'm just like, oh my God, those are the kids that were in the courtroom. Because I asked my kids, it's like, are those your friends? And they're like, no, Mom, we don't know who they are. They send their kids into the courtroom to see what the verdict's going to be. Now, I got to say this about that.
Huh.
You cowards. You people are cowards that you can't go yourself, that you send your children. You know, I would never put my children up to anything like that, ever. You know, and when I thought about that, I just thought, you know, what kind of people would do that? You know, it's like, I need you to go sit in the courtroom and see what happens, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, you know, it just gave me a whole different opinion when I realized who those kids were. And it was their son, Rick the third, I guess it'd be. And the one daughter, Amanda. It was one of them. They got two daughters, either Alyssa or Amanda. And, you know, I just, you know, it just floored me. It just floored me in the stuff that these people do. Let me tell you this. The stuff that these people do is so nefarious. They compromise your medical. You know, once you get on their bad side, they compromise your medical information. They, you know, I had a situation earlier, matter of fact, right before Thanksgiving, and I went to the hospital regarding my eyes, and I kind of have the same thing that Frank has going on with, okay, and so I go to the hospital because my eyes are just burning. Like, you know, I have
excuse me,
drops that I put in, and I didn't know if somebody tampered with my stuff or what, but my eyes just burned to the point that I threw the eye drops out, you know, and so I went and I bought new stuff and that, but when I was at the hospital, you know, they concocted a situation to where I ended up literally in like a place called Pine Rest. And I'm just like, what the hell am I here for? I didn't come in here for anything mental. I came in here because my eyes were burning. And I've learned now that they set that up to get a hold of my phone. Get this, to get a hold of my phone in my purse, and they took and deleted pictures of my purse. Yep.
Typical.
They literally deleted pictures that I had on my phone, and I had a USB drive with information and stuff, and I don't know what they did to it. And I'm just like, interesting. And
they did this to a nurse called Kim. Also, she carried around all of her evidence, which she had quite a little bit of, with her everywhere she went. She carried this.
Yep.
So they threw her in the loony bin. They took out all of her stuff, and she only got back part of the evidence. Of course, not the good stuff. And
right,
so
yeah, they
gone.
take the stuff that will incriminate them. Yeah, they've done that to me too. Yep.
Let me make a suggestion. When you take, you keep that stuff on. I know they're going to get me at this point. So at some point, what I did was buy evidence bags from Amazon. They are numbered. Once you put your stuff in there, you close it up. You take the top tab off, which has got the same number as the bag does. You make a note of what's in the bag. So, and you tell them, if they come and get you, pick you up, you tell them what's in that bag. you have got proof of the fact that what is in there, got the number of that bag, and they can't get in those bags without ripping them apart. They're not allowed to. They can't do
you know
that.
what?
But the
Then
next
they'll
time
just
you
take the whole. They'll take the whole bag. That's what they do.
well, you've got here's the proof. You got the proof of that bag already at home when you took the tab off the top. Okay, you take that top.
That
It's got
is
the
wonderful.
number. Yes, it's got the same number as the bag does. And you tell them you've got proof what's in that bag, and you've got proof of the number of that bag, and you've got it in a nice secure place so they can't get their little hands on it. That will at least stop them. At least they won't just rummage through and take what they want. At least they know they're going to get caught. You know what I'm saying?
That's the most important thing I've heard all night. Wow, thank you.
I do that. That's what I do. If I have to leave anything here, I put it in those bags and I keep that information with me. You know, of what's in the bag and the number of the bag. It really does help.
Oh,
Please do
thank
that
you
for
for
yourself.
Yeah, well, I've learned to make copies of all my stuff and have somebody else put the stuff in their safety deposit box that nobody knows about because
that's good.
it's like I've got affidavits out there if anything happens to me, whatnot. I don't care if it looks like an accident. Trust me when I tell you, it is not an accident. Yeah.
Keep it anywhere you can, but try to do that. Believe me, it works. At least it keeps things safe. I feel better. I know if someone gets me for some reason and grabs me, I know that everything is. Well, I also fax everything to a friend of mine, so that helps too. But I've got it in my bags, got it back, got it everywhere. So, but anyway, okay, go ahead. I just wanted to.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I will check that out.
Amazon has them. They're called evidence bags, and Amazon has them. They're not cheap. It's like $60 for 100, but that's cheap. And at least you don't have to run around and get those records again if you can. But let's give it a shot. But wrap your anything that they could put a magnet up to, because they can wipe your computer with a magnet if they want to. They can wipe almost anything with a good sized magnet.
Yep. Yeah, they've ruined three of my computers, and two of them, one was stolen. No, actually, two computers were stolen, and the other three they ruined. Yep.
Oh, and I've got 13 computers sitting here I've had to purchase over the past 12 years. Yeah, I know all that. Boy, do they get to your computers. But, and by the way, my targeting also started because I sued a very powerful lawyer in Los Angeles. And the same thing, the same thing you're talking about. I know what they do.
Yep.
They're leaf. Yeah. Well, the sad part about it is when you get punished for pursuing your own rights. I pursued what my husband left for me, and this guy wanted to take it all. And I got punished for pursuing that. You got punished for pursuing what was your right in life. And when you're punished for pursuing
something else now, though, it's become something else for them. Maybe they already found what they wanted, Linda, and now they're just after you. Well,
that too, huh? I mean, I've been hospitalized 3 times from attacks with head injuries. So it's a little bit sprinkling of getting me, or maybe trying to kill me and taking everything back.
It's amazing you're still alive with those head injuries. That is
These people, they're asset strippers. They strip you of your assets. That's what they do.
They want everything.
They're asset strippers. Yeah.
Once you're in their sites, they go after you. But boy, but to hang on to our stuff, you guys, all of us, we are still walking around. We are still talking. We are still sane, even though they'd like to say we're not. But we are sane, and we are fighters. We are good fighters. We don't give up. Look at where we are. Look at what we're doing. We're going forward.
Exactly.
You're one of the best PI fighters on these calls, the way you talk so much. And I feel like I was a good fighter for a while, but I lost the cloud. I lost the download of information to my brain. where I could talk in the same way I used to before they did brain damaged me a lot. And I just watched Kristen Conklin on Anthony Thomas's video that he posted yesterday in that TI chat room that you're part of. He posted a 3-hour video where V, you know, like he's after like the targeted individual icon, V for Vendetta. His name is Anthony Thomas, and he posted a Robert Duncan video that lasted about an hour and a half. And Robert Duncan, it was his most recent video, and they talked a lot about things, but I mean, just that, you know, like being brain damaged. This woman also reminded me of myself, this Kristen Conklin, that was saying that she could barely, I mean, you could see it in her face, she could barely talk, even though she had 9 years of college education. She could barely talk. She was like talking, kind of chattering through her teeth, because she was so upset that somehow they had remotely infiltrated the electrical circuitry of her brain. And so if they can hack the electrical circuitry of the brain, but I think, I mean, to be really heavily brain damaged, it would take a chemical poisoning more than an electrical poisoning.
Yes, they know how to do the brain damage. They should. But the interesting thing is, Marcus, it does come back. You know, for a while. In fact, the last time I talked to Kyle on the phone, you know, I felt like I was just stupid. I felt like I couldn't even finish a sentence. I was so blank. I was really in a bad place. And you know what? It seems to be coming back. I mean, my brain seems to be reconnecting, and our brains they find new pathways, you know, and they just do. In fact, I had a shrink tell me that.
How I would see it from how I've been targeted severely with brain damage was like, this guy spoke about this guy that had severe epilepsy, had severe epileptic seizures a couple years ago, and he survived, and he wrote all these books. His name was Graham Hancock, and he wrote all kinds of books, and like about the prehistoric civilization of mankind and all this. And then he went to New Mexico, where I'm from, Mexico, and 2 years ago he suddenly got struck with, I think it might have been a direct energy weapon that made him start having a severe brain epileptic seizure, because he was bleeding from his mouth, and he lost. They thought he was going to die. He went into they had to put him into a forced coma for 2 days from how severe his seizure was. He was shaking everywhere. He was shaking so violently that the paramedic truck was shaking. And then he was miraculously, he survived it, and he was on a big YouTube show or social media show called Brian Rose, called London Talk TV, London Real Talk TV, and he came back from it. You're right, the brain does recover well. He was like, I mean, parts of his, they asked him point blank, has some of your memory been lost? And he said, yes, it has. But he was describing this, how he downloads, because he writes all these books. And even after his epileptic seizures, he was still able to write a volume book that they thought was like the third series of his, they thought it was like a trilogy. But it was really just him just writing how in his own style came back to him. His own style of writing came back to him.
Wow.
What he learned came back to him. But, you know, and he made a miraculous comeback, and he's still back in the ropes and getting back with talking about his cause and what's going on.
Yeah, you know, I used to work in a neurologist's office, and we used to have this like brain thing that had like all the different parts of the brain on it. Like it was labeled, like this part of your brain is oblongata, and this is, you know, and you know, I can remember having a conversation with the doctor one time, And, you know, it's like some of the people that come in with traumatic brain injuries, you know, sometimes, you know, they improve a little bit. But if you eat the right kinds of food, get your fish oils, you know, the things that are good for the brain, your brain cells will repair themselves. And that, you know, sometimes it takes years depending on how bad the situation is, and depending on what
Mine's been really
the
bad though.
situation was.
There's been repeated offenses where I thought I was repeatedly poisoned with neurotoxins 20 times or more, at least 20, maybe up to 50 times since 2011, where they would pick our locks and break in. I would buy supplements to recover, and they would put neurotoxins in my supplements, which is a form of poisoning and which damaged millions to billions of my brain cells. Well, I would recover after one time, like my thinking went down from like 99% down to 40 or 30%. And then a year later, after good exercise and diet, it came back to being back at like 90%.
Beautiful. The brain, I think, I could be wrong, but I think the brain and the liver are the only two organs in the body that do repair themselves. Am I right? At least that's what I heard. That we do.
Well, I know,
they do repair. Yeah.
I know
Go
that
ahead.
the liver, you know, like if you had liver cancer or whatever, and they had to cut like half of your liver, your liver will grow back.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, your liver will grow back.
That's repair. Yeah.
The brain doesn't grow back, but it'll hardwire sections of it that were damaged.
Yeah.
The brain
will
cells,
create new
brain cells
pathways.
it can create. We can regrow new brain cells, but yeah, it creates new pathways, but they don't grow new brain cells at a very accelerated rate.
No, but it does. It can regrow and it can create new pathways. I think the brain wants to think. You know, it's like, hold it. I want to think like I thought. You know, and it's up there. You know, arranging that. It doesn't feel good when it can't think right. We don't feel good when it can't, but it does repair. I mean, I'm just kind of amazed. I sure felt stupid for about a year, and I'm not feeling stupid anymore. You know. Just hoping.
What was it that year that caused the you said you were hit with like a heavy bar or something. I remember you told me.
Oh, I've been hammered 3 times. I've been hospitalized 3 times with serious head injuries. The first and the last time were the worst, but I have been hospitalized and they were serious concussions, and the last one did have a brain hemorrhage in the left hemisphere of my brain, and that's when I was really attacked in my own home, according to the doctor, with something the approximate diameter of a baseball bat. And I said, well, I don't remember. He said, if I had a dent in my head as deep as your dent is in your head, I wouldn't remember either. You know,
how deep is the indentation on your head today?
Well, it's still there. I don't. It's still there. You can tell when you when I run my fingers over it that there's a dent there. You know, and that was
how deep is it? Is it like
19 years ago?
I
don't know. No, it's not happening. It's just a little dent. You know, it does.
Linda?
Yeah.
Linda, did they ever catch the guy that did that to you?
You know what? The doctor wanted to call the police. That's what he wanted. When I said, but I don't remember, I was responding to his wanting to call the police. He said, you've been in here before. You have been seriously injured. And I don't know if you have got a relationship. I was asked 3 times, are you in a relationship? Is somebody beating the hell out of you? You know, I said, no, I'm not in a relationship, and I don't remember. He wanted me to call the police. My sister talked me out of it, and that's another long story. She helped set me up in the first place. Her husband writes software for directed energy weapons, and I think he needed a subject, but she said, oh, don't do that. You'll just get the guy who was standing behind me, who was a guy that did some maintenance on some properties I used to own. She said, you'll get him in trouble. Well, really?
Oh my God.
You know, and I didn't even bring him up. I just said, file a police report. I think I probably should. He didn't even know what her last name was, but somehow he found her. Somehow he called her and she came down. And then she talked me out of calling the police. And then next morning, next morning, she said, I have to go home now. She had to go home to her husband, fly down to Florida, leave me with the same guy who was standing behind me when it happened.
Oh my God.
You know,
That is
that
tragic,
hurts.
man. Like
Thank
I mean,
you. Yeah.
why would they be shielding the action that took
Yes.
place that damaged a significant part of your
I was.
brain, even though your
Well,
brain
the
has billions
brother-in-law
of brain cells?
writes software for Purdue. I mean,
Produce, yes, and he's got a
you know what? That says it all.
he had a
Oh
contract.
my God.
He was looking for. He was in 2003. In fact, James Lyko helped me look this up. In 2003, he got a contract with the DoD for writing software for dues for the DoD. You know, I mean, it's like there's not a secret as to where that one was going all that time. You know, and she talked.
Oh
I was
yeah.
standing there with a brain hemorrhage, 5 broken ribs, a broken collarbone, and a collapsed lung. And she says, "Oh, don't call the police.
Oh
You'll
my
just get him in
God.
trouble." You know, I just, for the life of me, you know, I wasn't thinking clearly. I had a brain
He
hemorrhage.
was there to murder you. That was like so attempted murder.
It
Oh
really
my
was.
God.
It
I
really
didn't know you
was.
had all the other injuries on top of the head injury.
Yep. Well, what I
Ugh.
felt was something was pulling me down my stairs. I was going up to my top floor, and then I heard, and I was starting from the landing on the second floor, and I felt something pulling me back down to the bottom floor, and I slammed on the floor, and that's probably where the brain hemorrhage came from. I don't know, but I don't even know why I'm telling you all that. But it was just weird.
Why,
That's when I got the broken
why did
ribs.
it, what drove them? What was the motive? What drove them? Were they mine hacked, or were
I would
they?
assume he didn't make much money. He wasn't very successful, and he did odd jobs, and he was kind of, that's why he worked for me. He did a lot of odd jobs for me, and you know, did painted things and did stuff, and you know, when I needed work done, he would do it. And I guess they got to him and paid him. I know he had an issue with drugs, and I don't know. All I know is it was him. He was the only person in the house, you know. And she went out and she went home and left me with him. He was the only person. He was standing behind me. Yes.
Your sister did.
My sister went home.
Maybe so. She trusted him. Was your sister targeted also by gang stalking?
No, my sister had it. No, she had a brother-in-law who needed a test subject, and I think that was me, because after that was when I started getting hit by dudes. You know?
You know, a DoD contractor was very much involved in my targeting too, and I think a lot of contractors are very involved in that. Now, his wife now has lupus, and as far as I know, she's dying. And so, you know, there's a karmic debt these people pay for these crimes.
Yes.
And he's a thug. He's a criminal, and you know, I intend on making sure he goes to prison. I'm not going to
do this over. Yeah.
But I do know one of them.
Yeah. I wish I could do mine over. I would be down there so fast, you know. I mean, I was standing there very injured, and she was saying, "Don't do that." It was like, well, I don't know. You know,
plus you had a head injury, so your sister's there. It would be normal for you to listen to her. I mean, you had a head injury, and so you know, you didn't much feel like putting up a fight at that time. And so of course you're going to listen to her, and then she leaves you the next day.
Yes, she had to go home. But then when she knew I was planning or thinking about calling the police, she suddenly had to leave, which is interesting too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've had head injuries that were done covertly that were poisonings with neurotoxins over 20 times to me and my mom, and they put my mom in a nursing home, and she can't do much at all anymore. And yet 8 years ago, before we were targeted, she was able to do a lot more. She was able to have tons of friends and work at jobs. She was a caregiver for years, even after we got targeted. And the traumatic brain injuries to her from chemical poisonings, and to me, have been immense. They've been so bad that I'm waiting to get on disability, not just because of brain death. I'm still able to function though. That's the thing. I'm so capable, but then they send electrical stimulations through my body that force involuntary movements and keep me awake all night. And so for those reasons, I finally just gave up after trying to fight it for 5 or 7 or 8 years. That that now I'm just going to wait to get on disability, and I think I'll be on disability in a couple months.
Good. Yeah. And thank you for listening to me, you guys. It strengthens me. It just strengthens me. When somebody says, oh, that's a tragedy, thank you, Marcus, and thank you, Goodness 8, for responding. It really helps. Because that's a part of me I've not reconciled yet. It happened 19 years ago, in the year 2000.
Well, how could you reconcile that? That could take a lifetime to reconcile like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible, but take solace in knowing that. I mean, for you to be alive is like a miracle. I mean, it's
unusual.
Incredible.
My doctor said the same thing.
When they attacked your head, did they use a weapon or did they just use their hands?
The doctor said it was something. He thought it was a baseball bat. He said it was something very hard, and it was the same diameter as a baseball bat. So I would assume it was a baseball bat.
Huh.
And somebody just
wow. I was just wondering because that's pretty severe. And it took you a year to recover from it, and it's a blessing of God that you recovered from it. I would say, to me, it's a blessing. I think
you don't always recover from brain hemorrhages. When your brain bleeds, it kills brain cells. And then a year later, she said, "Well, I just don't think you're trying very hard." When all the targeting was going on, and documents being stolen, she said, "Well, I don't think you care about getting better." And you're trying very hard. It's like, oh my God, I'm just, got people. Yeah, thank you. I know. It was that ridiculous.
It's like getting another head injury. The way I mean, that's incredible. She said something like that,
isn't it? Isn't it?
You know what?
I mean, I'm not laughing at it. I think it's just craziness.
You're laughing at the craziness.
Ignorant, pure ignorance.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
You know what? That reminds me of when I had one of my kids. I was in labor, and the doctor of all people, he said, "Push, no noise."
What?
And that's what he said. Push, no noise. And I was just like, to shut up and not like grunt or not scream, not do any of that. Oh. And let me tell you, I wanted to pick my foot up and just kick him right in the face.
I'll be quiet. I'll have a full delivery. Wow.
Push, no noise. Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me?
I wouldn't want to interrupt you. Upset anybody, make any noise. Oh my God. That's amazing.
That's taking away our freedom, I guess.
Yeah, really. And then I just want to say one more thing. 9 years later, because I would tell her about what was going on, and she'd go, like I was, And when she finally said, "You're delusional and you seek serious help," it was a relief. Because it was like she finally came out and said it. She'd been treating me like I was crazy from between 2000 and...
Oh, I don't know how you could stand it. I would have... Oh my God.
That was the last time we talked. We haven't talked since.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, really? Thank you.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. The rest of it didn't.
Yeah, what amazes me is that after she said, "Well, you're just not trying. You just don't want things to get better." It's like, good God. Well, I'm amazed that I still talk to her after that. But I didn't have anybody, and I was being all that, But it was weird. So you're just not trying. Oh man.
So all this
You just need
stuff
to
is
try
real. Like,
harder, Linda. That's all.
What? What?
You just
What'd you
need
say?
to try harder.
Yeah.
Quit being
Just work at it.
delusional. Jesus,
Yeah.
you'd think that you would be so grateful to God that you're still alive.
Yeah, not her. Nope.
but all
Well,
this
maybe
stuff,
you should look after your mom a little bit because you said your mom was narcissistic. So,
Oh, two peas in a pod. Yeah. Growing up,
okay.
yeah, two peas in a pod. My mother died, so that was okay. You know, when she told me I was delusional, my mother was gone, so she didn't come in with the final. Well, actually, I had not talked to her for many years, but because of the crap. But anyway, it was an experience. I gotta tell you, want something to tell you,
I
great.
guess so.
Yeah. Thank you, you
Wow.
guys. I really appreciate that. You don't know. I'm sitting here feeling like, what am I doing wrong? How come things aren't getting better? Well, I wonder where that came from. You know?
God. Oh my God. What a story. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's awful. Oh, if she only knew about so many people die of head injuries and
Oh,
what they
yeah.
go through, and their vegetables afterwards too. The ones that
Yes.
live. I mean,
Yes.
my God. Yeah, I mean, talk about building new pathways in your brain. God has helped you out immensely.
Yes, he's been on my little angel on my shoulder. But
I guess
yeah.
so.
Thank you for laughing at that because it is so ridiculous.
Well,
You just need to try harder. Now, mind you, I've gone through this lawsuit. And the only reason I got a decent settlement was because I had spent many, many nights for many, many years delving into this everything in this lawsuit. It was my son's life. I wanted to know every piece of it, and
Yeah.
I wanted, and that's the reason I knew it so well. That's why the judge said, she asked me to leave the room, and then she talked to my lawyer that was selling me out, and she knew that. And she had all the lawyers come in. She said, I want Mrs. Costanza to leave the room for a minute. I want to talk to the lawyers. And then my lawyer came out and said she wants to talk to you. She says, okay, where's the money? I said, it's in partnership buildings. She says, they're yours. Any leases? Yeah, they're yours. She was so angry at these guys for trying to set me up and sell me out. So we do have legitimate judges left. I just want to mention that,
Thank God.
But then my sister says I got to try harder. Really? I'm up against lawyers that are selling me out, accountants that are selling me out. I get a reasonable settlement because I work so hard, but I just need to work harder.
Yeah, just work harder.
Yeah, Linda, what's wrong with you?
Well, at least my family believed me. But the thing is, they were scared. They told me, don't talk about that. We're not gonna, we don't want any part of that. And so I think that's what happens. That they never called me delusional or anything like that. My mother said this story sounds so far off. But if it was your sister, I have a sister too. If it was your sister telling me this, I wouldn't believe a word she's saying, but it's you telling me this. So she believed it. And then she said, I think it's originating out of the FBI. But my mother, she was scared easily. And God rest her soul, she's in heaven now. And I think that it scared my siblings as well. And so then it put a distance between my family and I, and that saddened my heart. But if my sister said, you're delusional and you need to try harder after what you've been through, I'd say, well, you know what, F you. That would be it.
I don't think it's funny.
That
I don't
was
think
kind
it's
of what I said
funny
to
that they're
her.
calling you delusional when you're going through millions of crimes like I have been.
Well, it's not funny, but it's better to laugh at it. I'd rather laugh than cry. I mean, with my sister, it was so ridiculous that it is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thank you because I needed a laugh tonight. So at your sister's expense, it was hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you. She's good for something. She's good for a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thank her.
Yeah.
Well, let's play bumper cars then.
No, let's talk about families. All right, I'm kidding. We don't need to talk more about families. I just my family kind of takes the cake. You know?
Well, thank you for telling us that. It was yeah, it was great. Hey, guess who's in the chat right now? ABC.
Ooh.
ABC.
Oh, ABC. Hi, how are you?
Get on the call, ABC.
Yeah. I'm glad you're here.
We've missed
Your name
him.
is ABC on chat. He wants to know what. Yes, we have missed you. Are you listening to us? You hear us? He's talking to other people. He's not talking to us. Come on, ABC. Well, he's also liberatus or something.
ABC.
Yeah. Come on, babe.
I hope
Good to
he's
see you
okay.
back. Yeah, he's got great energy. You know.
Oh, he's a good soul. He's
Yeah,
a
I
good
think so
soul.
too. Yeah. I think so too. Hold on, I'm trying to find him in the chat to see if he's, and I'm trying to find him in the list to see if he is talking, can talk. If he's got a talking thing.
He might
You know,
have
like
it
a-
muted. Sometimes he mutes it and just chats. He's
Yeah.
talking to Seth.
Yeah, he's talking to
Oh,
Whitey.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. It says there used to be Whitey says there used to be a guy who used those same initials.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, I wonder if it's not ABC.
No, it's him. No, it's him. He's been
Oh, it is?
exfoliating like a man. He's been exfoliating like a madman. He says that's him.
Oh, okay, that's him then. Good.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah, because he just said, always glad to be welcomed back with love. Well, we love you, ABC. Get on the call.
Yeah. You you eat lots of Nutella? Damn. I almost ordered Nutella off of Amazon today. That's good stuff. He is. He said he is.
He loves that. I've never tried it.
I can't buy it because I'll eat the whole thing.
Absolutely. That the very day, right?
Yep. Oh, the very sitting.
Oh man, it's good stuff. I used to bring it into bed at night and leave it on my, like when I used to drink, I would have like a glass of scotch next to me so I could wake up in the middle of the night and get back to sleep with my scotch. Now it's Nutella.
You didn't want to be far from your scotch.
No, I didn't. I'll tell you. Sometimes I had to refill it too, in the middle of the night. Yeah, I used to have a little drinking problem.
Well, you know what? It's a blessing you don't now. Good for you.
Trust me, I would either not be alive or I would be so rude. I'd be telling people off and slobbering and, being indignant. I was not a fun drinker. Anyway.
Oh, that's the way it is. Even people that drink a lot, they're either really mean or they're great fun.
Well, I sort of alternated. Sometimes I was fun, and sometimes I told everybody what I thought of them. In a bar, go up and down the bar telling people what I thought. I used to. There was a bar that I went to in Santa Barbara that they served martinis in a bucket. That was what the name of the martini. Oh, I love that place.
Okay, let's say good night to the recording. No.
You don't. Sorry.
God bless everybody.
I'll stop talking about drinking.
We are signing off. And
Sorry about that.
We'll be back Monday. Later.
Are you